Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching first part of What If Naruto Became Elemental Master. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
"Stop!" cried a blond boy. "What did I ever do to you people?" An enraged mob was pursuing the blond boy, so he fled. The blond boy was chased by people for no apparent reason. He had blue eyes, spiky blonde hair, and whisker marks on both cheeks, but he had no idea why the people were so cruel to him. The boy appeared to be just 5 years old. His name was Naruto Uzumaki. "Tower of Hokage. Sigh," said the third Hokage. He saw Naruto being pursued by his own villagers when he peered into his crystal ball. Unfortunately, he felt let down by them. Kyuubi is not necessarily Kyuubi just because he appeared in Naruto. In the blink of an eye, Hitaki Kakashi appeared after the Hokage pressed a button. "Kakashi," Sarutobi said, "Naruto is getting chased by these stupid villagers. Stop them." Kakashi gave a sympathetic nod. Kakashi vanished while searching for Naruto. Alongside Naruto dashed beneath a dumpster after running around a corner. Naruto observed the peasants rushing by him. Fortunately, they were only locals. They would have killed Naruto if they were ninjas. He looked around after sticking his head under the dumpster. He got out and began running to his apartment as soon as he realized he was safe. Naruto noticed something strange when he arrived at his apartment. There was a blue crystal ball outside his door. Curious as ever, Naruto grabbed the ball and was instantly surrounded by white light. At last, Kakashi showed up at Naruto's doorstep. He searched everywhere but was unable to locate Naruto. He was unable to feel his chakra when he closed his eyes. Kakashi became anxious. He could not allow the kidnapping of his sensei's son. He had to keep Naruto alive. Kakashi vanished as he made his way directly to the Hokage Tower. "Unidentified region, holy!" exclaimed Naruto. Naruto dropped to the ground. There were several little towers there. Except for the small tower, the entire area was dark. Consider Madara's dimension device. Naruto scanned his surroundings in an attempt to locate himself. He never saw this part of Konoha in all his travels. Naruto got up and started running. In an attempt to return to his apartment, he located the blue ball and touched it repeatedly. He saw a hologram and jumped back instead of going back. It was a woman in the hologram. Her eyes were hazel, and her hair was white. Naruto thought she was very beautiful, despite the fact that she was short for her age. If you have seen Angel Beats, think of Angel. If not, Google Angel Beats. "Who are you?" inquired Naruto. The girl, who is now known as Kyoko, introduced herself as Kyoko Suzuki. "I am one of the elemental masters and I killed Tadashi Seidu." Naruto became frightened. Even though he was dreaming about becoming a ninja, he was terrified of dying despite being beaten. He dismissed it. It was a hologram, nothing more. Naruto asked, "Who is he? What is elemental masters?" "He is the guy that almost destroyed the world. People who are chosen by the crystal ball are people who are worthy, brave, and strong enough to accept this challenge." "The crystal ball is always correct when choosing the elemental masters," replied Kyoko. "As for your other question, elemental masters are people who are born to protect the world. They're people who can master the 5 elements: fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water. These people were born to kill off the new person to plans to destroy this world, and since the crystal ball chose you, you are the person destined to kill that person." Naruto was staring at her with utter amazement. To one day be able to save the world? It's even more significant than being Hokage. He had a question in his head. "Who will help me?" Naruto exclaimed. "You will need help, of course. You will need specific bloodlines. The Byakugan and the Sharingan. Those 2 people will help you achieve your goal. You will also need teachers to help you master the elements." Naruto gave a nod. He was aware of the 2 individuals he desired. His closest companions, Sasuke Uchiha and Hinata Hyuga. Since he was 4 years old, he had known Hinata. He recalled his first encounter with her. Rewind crawling out of the Hyuga compound was Hinata Hyuga. She and her father just went through another rigorous training session. He never treated her cruelly. Until her mother passed away, that is. Because they enjoyed making public displays of affection, Hinata was aware of their deep love for one another. The fact that her father was more severe did not surprise Hinata. She got it. She was shocked to learn that she had managed to escape the compound undetected. She fled the compound as quickly as she could. All she wanted was to leave that evil place. The girl with the lavender eyes loved her house, but she also loved it. When Hinata eventually arrived at the park, she discovered ninjas in play. Approaching the group, Hinata began to poke her index fingers together. Hinata began to say, Anyo, C. Can I play W? With Y. You guys? It was a boy who shouted, "No, go away you weird eye girl." The other girls and boys nodded. Tears were streaming from Hinata's eyes as she fled. Her eyes caused her to be teased by everyone. She had a bodyguard, but no one ever made fun of her. Hyugas was known to the villagers. The only way the villagers can tell they're Hyugas is by looking at them. That's all. Hinata began to swing slowly and not very high after sagging down on a swing. After a few minutes, a blond boy approached and sagged on the other swing set. The boy had a dejected expression. The boy said, turning to look at her. The blond boy pointed to the group and said, "I saw how they treated you. Do you want to play with me? I think your eyes look very beautiful." Hinata reddened. She thought, "He's cute." Hinata exclaimed enthusiastically, "IW. Would L. Like that." The child got up and extended his hand. The boy who was now Naruto shouted, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the future Hokage of this village." Hinata took the hand and shook it, saying, I am Hinata Hyuga." "Let's go!" exclaimed Naruto. Hinata blushed as Naruto took her hand. After escorting Hinata to the sandbox, Naruto began playing. A large man approached Hinata 2 hours later. "Father," exclaimed Hinata. "Hi Hinata's dad," Naruto exclaimed as he got to his feet. Heishi briefly witnessed the 4th Hokage take Naruto's place. "It's him," Heishi thought to himself. "Hello. May I ask your name?" Heishi said. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, new best friend of Hinata Hyuga and future Hokage." Heishi gave Naruto a look. Naruto was uneasy with the stare. "Hey," Heishi thought, "I was certain of it." "It is nice to meet you Naruto. I am taking Hinata. We must get home," Heishi responded. "No problem," exclaimed Naruto. Taking Hinata's hand, Naruto assisted her in standing up. She turned red. The blush was not missed by Heishi. Heishi thought, "Looks like Hinata has a crush on Naruto." Naruto inquired, "Can Hinata come play tomorrow?" "Sure," said Heishi. "Yada," exclaimed Naruto with delight. Hinata and Heishi strolled home. At last, Hinata and Naruto became best friends. In the hopes of another exciting day tomorrow, Naruto hurried back to his apartment. Similar to Hinata, after learning about Naruto, Hinata was unable to recognize the new change in her father. The flashback has ended. Naruto grinned as he thought back to his first encounter with Hinata. Hinata was a shy, kind girl all her life. She was constantly blushing and fainting around him, and he never understood why. He thought she was strange at times. However, she remained a close friend. Shutting his eyes, Naruto began to recall his first encounter with Sasuke. At the age of 4, he first met Sasuke. Several months after he first met Hinata. Rewind sitting on a port in a lake was Sasuke Uchiha. He had a bad mood. His father never gave him enough thought. Only his older brother Itachi was involved. This Itachi, and that Itachi. They never give him credit. Not once at all, however, that changed today. His fireball jutsu was even more powerful than his father's when he mastered it. At last, his father gave him a nod. But Sasuke was still depressed. His father only took notice of him then. Simply because he was a jutsu master. The duck-butt kid simply gazed at his reflection in the lake. Around Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki was strolling. He just finished his game with Hinata Hyuga, his closest companion. Since he first met her, Naruto has evolved. She made him happy. Naruto smiled so broadly that his eyes nearly closed. As Naruto glanced to the side, he noticed a boy gazing down at the lake. Naruto made the decision to approach him and inquire about his condition. Naruto said, "Hey kid, what's wrong?" Sasuke saw a blonde child with whisker marks when he looked up. Before being chased by the villagers, he saw him around, but he never spoke to him. In response, Sasuke said, "Nothing." "Well, if it makes you feel any better, how about me and you go to the park tomorrow with my friend?" Naruto replied, "It's a lot of fun." Sasuke considered it for a while. He never did anything but train. He was in dire need of a vacation. Sasuke replied, "Sure. What's your name?" "Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage." Sasuke Uchiha, of the Uchiha clan. Naruto shook his hand as Sasuke held out his hand. He said, "See you tomorrow." Sasuke. Naruto gave a nod and turned to leave. He gave Sasuke a quick look. He remained on the bridge made of wood. Naruto made the decision to ignore him. Sasuke did glance at Naruto, and Naruto noticed. The two men both smiled. The flashback has ended. When Naruto's eyes opened, he saw Kyoko. Kyoko patiently waited. Naruto's expression changed. His eyes were only focused on one thing: willpower. "I will do it!" exclaimed Naruto. In the air, the blonde boy pumped his fist. The future Hokage and now the brand new elemental master. Kyoko smiled. She had no doubt that one day he would make a difference. Naruto had another question, so Kyoko started to leave. "Well, since you're ready, I think I will go now." Naruto asked, "Who will teach me to master the elements?" "You will have to learn that in the future," Kyoko replied. "Before I forget, here." Kyoko's hands suddenly held a scythe. Naruto caught it after she threw it to him. The black pole of the scythe had red stripes spaced 4 inches apart. The silver blade shone like a star. "Thanks," exclaimed Naruto. "Oh, and by the way, change your clothes." It screams out, "Kill me." Kyoko then disappeared, leaving Naruto eager to train. "No problem. You will need it," she said. Naruto's face was beaming broadly. He had been selected to save the world. Being Hokage is not nearly as important as this role. When he was strolling through the village, his smile was smaller. Every villager had a distinct expression on their face. Although it is now fear, it was once hatred. Naruto carried his scythe on his back. Red Death is what he called it. The villagers were terrified that he would lash out at them because they were staring at his back. Naruto took his keys from his pocket and reached for his apartment. 10 pairs of eyes focused on Naruto as he opened it. 5 Anbu people were in his apartment, as well as Hitaki Kakashi. Kakashi hurried to give him a hug. Every Anbu present was taken aback. Naruto Uzumaki was being hugged by the emotionless Anbu Hitaki Kakashi. Kakashi?" inquired Naruto. Kakashi sighed and said, "Thank Kami, you're okay." Kakashi nodded to the other Anbu and placed Naruto on the ground. Before Naruto could blink, the Anbu vanished, leaving Naruto and Kakashi alone. Kakashi demanded, "Explain what happened to you." Naruto then went into great detail to explain what had happened. He informed Kakashi about Kyoko, Elemental Master, and the murder of the man who was going to wipe out humanity. Regarding the scythe on Naruto's back, Kakashi questioned him. "This is a gift from Kyoko," said Naruto. "But I hate it when it's on your back, it's annoying." "Well, I am going to report to the Hokage what happened to you," Kakashi said. "Good night, Naruto." After that, Kakashi vanished, leaving Naruto by himself. Naruto leapt onto his bed and instantly dozed off. The following morning Naruto was ecstatic when he woke up. His mind was filled with everything that had occurred the day before. He grinned. Naruto made the decision that he should be a new him because it is a new destiny. Naruto thought, that note she gave him on my scythe. Maybe I should do that. Naruto read the note on his scythe after grabbing it. "Change your clothes please. If you want to save the world you have to be sneaky." Naruto gave a nod. He snatched up his scythe and hastily dressed. After leaving his apartment, he locked the door. To the clothes department he ran. As he made his way to the department, Naruto ignored the glares and remarks he was receiving. He had no idea why he was treated that way. When Naruto reached the department, he unlocked the door. When the manager noticed him, he shouted. The manager literally ejected him from his store, saying, "Get out of my apartment you filthy demon," instead. Forgot about that, Naruto sighed. "I need help." Over his head, a light bulb appeared. Hinata. Bows were raised as Naruto ran to the Hyuga compound. The Hyuga clan was the only one to respect him. His home was the Hyuga clan. Naruto set out to track down Hinata. He discovered Hinata still asleep in her room. Naruto reflected, well, it is only 9 a.m. Naruto prodded the cheek of Hinata. She shifted. When Hinata was shaken by Naruto, her eyes began to open. When Hinata opened her eyes, blue eyes met hers. "Hinata. Chan?" inquired Naruto. Hinata reddened. "Ohio Naruto-kun." Naruto began to explain what had happened the previous evening. "I need help, Hinata. Chan," he begged, "but first you need to know what happened." Hinata did nothing more than nod. "I understand, Naruto-kun," said Hinata. "Looks like I have to help my best friend save the world." Naruto yelled, "You bet, can we go?" Hinata gave a nod. Naruto left the room so Hinata could change. After a few minutes, Hinata came out of her room, completely clothed. Hinata ran to her father's office with Naruto. "Father!" shouted Hinata. Heishi yelled, "Come in, Hinata, Chan." The door was opened by Naruto and Hinata. The fact that Naruto was with her did not surprise Heishi. They spent all of their time together as best friends. With a bow, Naruto said, "Heishi. Sama. Heishi remarked, Naruto, you don't have to bow. In any case, Naruto said as he stood up, can you help me? I want new clothes, but people won't let me in. Heishi was aware of how he was treated by the villagers. Heishi was disgusted. All Heishi wanted to do was break every bone in every villager that lived here. According to Heishi, sure Naruto. Heishi, Hinata, and Naruto strolled over to the clothes department. As soon as they were inside, the manager shouted and glared at Naruto. For the last time, get out. Byakugan activated before the manager could take any action because Heishi was directly in front of him. You understand? Said Heishi in a deathly whisper. You will treat this boy with respect like every other citizen in this village. The manager began to utter the words, but he is a but was cut off. No he isn't, and if you complete that word you will be going against the third law. If you break that law it is punishable by death, which I will be happy to do. We just want some clothes and we will be gone, Heishi replied. The manager gave a nod. Sweat was streaming down the manager's face the entire time. After Heishi grinned, the three of them began to look around the shop. Orange, or at least a color associated with orange, was a necessity for Naruto. The three of them came out the door a few hours later. Naruto was now wearing a short, sleeved shirt that was crimson red and had the swirl symbol on the back. He was wearing black shorts with numerous pockets for shuriken, kunai, scrolls, etc. He wore a pair of black sandals. Naruto was annoyed that his scythe was still strapped to his back. Naruto exclaimed, thank you so much Heishi, Sama, but what Naruto? Asked Heishi. I kind of need to go to the library to work on some ninjutsu and taijutsu. I don't need to worry about genjutsu because I already know I suck at genjutsu. Naruto's knowledge of all that was unexpected. He is only 5 years old, and he doesn't begin attending the academy until he is 8 years old. Hiyashi yelled, I will be happy to help you Naruto. Naruto grinned. It took the three of them only 5 minutes to walk to the library. Naruto was yelled at by the librarian, but Heishi intervened. Naruto, Heishi, and Hinata left the library a short while later. Naruto had some taijutsu scrolls and a stack of jutsu in his hands. He had a scroll about scythe use as well. He picked up a fuinjutsu, sealing, scroll, but he was unaware of it. Naruto shouted, thank you again, Heishi, Sama. Heishi replied, no problem, Naruto. Anything else you need? After giving it some thought, Naruto said no. Naruto fled to the training grounds after leaving the two Hyugas. Upon his arrival, he noticed Kakashi examining the memorial stone. Naruto was aware of the life of Kakashi. He viewed Kakashi as a father figure. When the other villagers didn't care about him, he did. After he was beaten, he looked after him. Naruto said, hey Kakashi. When Kakashi looked up, he saw Naruto holding several scrolls. The words, hey Naruto, what up with the scrolls, were spoken by Kakashi. With a broad smile, Naruto exclaimed, I need to train hard because I need to master the 5 elements. Asking, may I help you? Kakashi said. Sure, replied Naruto, thanks. Well, since you need to master the 5 elements, you need to know your element, Kakashi replied. Huh? Inquired Naruto. Every ninja has an element. Wind, fire, lightning, earth, and water. I have lightning and water. I can use all 5 because of my Sharingan. How will I figure out my element? Kakashi gave Naruto a piece of paper that he had slipped from his pocket. Naruto questioned, what's a piece of paper going to do? Kakashi said, put chakra into the paper. How do I do that? Kakashi thought, this is going to be a long day. Next, Kakashi gave a thorough explanation of chakra and its application. Naruto eventually succeeded in writing chakra on the paper a few hours later. If you slice the paper it is wind. If it turns to ash it is fire. If it becomes damp it is water. If it turns to dirt it is earth. If it crumples up it is lightning, said Kakashi. Around the time you are a Jonin, you can have 2 chakra affinities. Some genin can have 2 though. It takes time though. Naruto concentrated on writing the chakra on the paper. The paper broke in 2. Kakashi remarked, looks like your affinity is wind, let's get started. A trio of pupils entered the academy. One student was dressed in black and red shorts. Uzumaki Naruto was his name. His friend was on his left. She had on a purple shirt underneath her white hooded jacket. She was wearing black trousers. Hinata Hyuga was her name. Naruto's other friend was on his right. He was dressed in a high, collared black shirt. There was a Uchiha symbol on the back. His shorts were white. He was called Sasuke Uchiha. Since they were 5 years old, These three have been best friends. It was time to become a ninja and enter the academy. For the past 3 years, when the Anbu captain wasn't on missions, Naruto has been training with Kakashi Hitaki. Sasuke and Hinata joined the training program approximately 1 month after they began. The training course was rigorous and lengthy. The three were forced to perform Anbu exercises by Kakashi, which included sparring, 1000 push-ups, and 50 laps around the Leaf Village. The three had to battle Kakashi on.1 and hit him at least 10 times. The trio finally succeeded, and Kakashi intensified it even further. Naruto shuddered at the thought of that training, but it was worthwhile. Naruto examined a piece of paper that was affixed to the doors. The classes and their participants were displayed on the paper. Naruto discovered who he was. He also located Hinata's and Sasuke's. Naruto remarked, "Guys, we're in the same class, room 1B. All of their faces lit up with smiles. Sasuke said, "Let's go." After giving each other a nod, they all went to their rooms. The first floor was where it was. They entered the room after carefully opening the door. Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto searched the area for anyone they knew. A few individuals were discovered, including Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, Kiba, and others. In order to wait for their teacher, they located 3 seats and took them. They discussed the experience of being on the same team. As soon as 2 men entered the classroom, the conversation came to an abrupt halt. There was a man with a scar across his nose. The other's hair was white. "We will be your teachers for the next 4 years. Do you have any questions?" "Hello class. My name is Iruka Amino," the scarred one said. "This is Mizuki," Iruka said, pointing to the man on his left. Nobody put up their hand. Every student wished to start their academy careers as soon as possible. "All right," said Iruka, "does anybody know any jutsus?" 4 hands sprang up. Naruto Uzumaki was the most unexpected. Naruto was always mentioned to Iruka. On Konoha, he was referred to as the #1 knucklehead of Konoha. I forgot. Iruka said, "Let's go outside to check it out." Before long, every student gathered outside. They were all whispering about Naruto. It was intended that Naruto would die last. The teachers had nothing more to say about him than that. The parents had nothing more to say about him than that. And, demon. Iruka said, "Sasuke Uchiha, you go first." Sasuke moved up behind a tree a few feet. With a sigh, he shut his eyes to concentrate. His eyes suddenly opened, and he began weaving signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke released a massive ball of fire. When the fireball reached the tree, it was consumed by the flames. After putting his hands in his pockets, Sasuke returned to Hinata and Naruto. The Sasuke fan club immediately came together and swiftly created an embrace banner that read, "We love you, Sasuke-kun." Naruto gave Sasuke a high five and remarks, "Nice job, Sasuke." Hinata congratulated him, saying, "Good job, Sasuke." Up next, Hinata Hyuga. Hinata approached a different tree and imitated Sasuke's move. She shouted as she threw a set of hand signals. Water style. Water blast. A nearby river's water level rose. The tree was totally destroyed when Hinata ordered the water to blast toward it. Mizuki remarked, "Very impressive." Up next, Shikamaru Nara. Shikamaru muttered, "Troublesome." Shikamaru muttered as he stood in front of Iruka. Shadow possession jutsu. Shikamaru saw a shadow begin to move toward Iruka from where he stood. Iruka began to slouch like Shikamaru after the shadow connected with her. Iruka ordered, "You can let go now, Shikamaru." Following instructions, Shikamaru returned to the line. When he returned to the line, he collapsed onto his back and slept. Iruka ignored Shikamaru and replied, "Finally, Naruto Uzumaki." In front of a tree, Naruto stood. To concentrate, Naruto closed his eyes. His eyes remained closed as his hands began to weave through hand signals. When his eyes finally opened, he exclaimed. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Naruto felt a strong gust of wind. Because the wind was coming, Naruto got several scratches on his back. 3 trees were completely overturned by the wind. With the exception of Sasuke and Hinata, everyone's eyes were wide. Being Shikamaru, Shikamaru was doing well. If Iruka and Mizuki hadn't put chakra on their feet, they would have been in the air. They had to stop the children from flying everywhere. To Hinata's dismay, half of the girls from the Sasuke fan club soon established a Naruto fan club. They created a banner with the words, "You are far superior to Sasuke." Naruto joked, "Looks like I am better than you, Sasuke." Teme. They were best friends for eternity and would constantly use foul language against one another, but they knew it was only a joke. Sasuke grinned and said, "HN." As everyone settled in, Iruka remarked, Nice job Naruto. Let's get back to the classroom," she said. The two boys sighed. This is going to be a long 4 years. Everyone followed Iruka's instructions, with the exception of Mizuki, while some of the girls followed Naruto and Sasuke. Mizuki thought, "This will be harder than I thought." He hurried to the classroom after Iruka. They discussed taijutsu and ninjutsu primarily, and about halfway through the class, a woman entered and instructed the girls to follow her. Iruka informed the guys that the girls would be arranging flowers to help them blend in, and they also discussed the ninja world, including the locations of the countries and their reputations. The class ended after a few hours. Neji was the Rookie of the Year, so Heishi wanted Hinata to be the Rookie of the Year as well. Naruto and Sasuke agreed to go train in the forest, and Hinata agreed as well because she wanted to escape her father. Although Hinata was strong, her father didn't think she was strong enough, and she placed second in the class, which didn't satisfy him. After a few minutes, the three of them arrived at the forest, which was made up of a lake, a river, practice dummies, and a few trees. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata saw that someone was following them, and they all realized that fangirls were observing them. Even though Hinata had her Byakugan, which allowed her to see where they were, they chose to ignore them and began training. Naruto said, "Oi Sasuke, let's work our combo." Sasuke said, "Sure." Sasuke and Hinata haven't made a combo because the water will put out the fire, but Naruto and Hinata have been working on a combo that can kill about 20 enemies for about a month, and they believe they can master it today. Because the attacks were mid-range, Naruto and Sasuke stood a few yards away from the 30 clones he created. He began to make some hand signs, ending with the ram sign, and he yelled out while sticking out 2 palms. Divine Down Current, Wind Style. Sasuke made hand signals and ended on Tiger, placing a ring around his mouth and shouting. A vortex of wind struck out of Naruto's palms and began to make the clones float and fly back. The clones crashed against a tree, but surprisingly, they didn't poof away. Naruto had worked extra hard on his clones so that they didn't poof away easily. They could withstand a few hits now. Fire Style. Fire in motion. The clones poofed away, leaving only 2, and Naruto swiftly ejected them and turned to face Sasuke as a stream of fire erupted from his mouth and began to encircle them. The fire and wind combined to create a tremendous conflagration. Naruto grinned and remarked, "Looks like we did it Sasuke." Temp. Sasuke said, "Looks like it dope." Naruto said, "Hinata-chan, let's practice our combo." Hinata confirmed, "Okay." After creating 30 clones once more, Naruto and Hinata stood a few yards away from the clones. Naruto immediately made hand seals and screamed. Wind tornadoes in the wind style. Hinata swiftly made some hand signals and screamed. Naruto stuck out his palms, and several tornadoes began to form. This jutsu was similar to Divine Down Current, but it produced a lot more tornadoes, though they were a little weaker. The wind tornado was blowing the 3 of them's hair. Water blasts is the water style. Water began to rise up from the nearby lake and river, and Hinata ordered them to go hit the tornadoes. As soon as the water hit the tornadoes, it began to spray everywhere like a sprinkler, hitting the clones and sending them flying to the trees, where they poofed away, and the water tornado quickly vanished. "We can only hold it for roughly 2 minutes, Naruto said. "That ought to be sufficient to defeat the adversaries." Hinata blushed and said, "Yeah." Everyone knew about Hinata's crush on Naruto, except for Naruto himself, who was too stupid to realize it. Sasuke always wanted to pair them up, but he decided it would be too Uchiha-like. He smirked when he saw that blush. "You're red, Hinata-chan. Are you okay? Did you ask?" Naruto touched Hinata's forehead, causing her blush to deepen. Hinata turned away and said, "Hi. Want to train more, guys?" Naruto remarked, "I started practicing using my scythe for combat." Sasuke took 10 or so scrolls out of his pocket and said, "No, I am going to train more on my fire jutsus." Hinata, who typically doesn't stutter, said, "I am going to do the same for my water jutsus." However, Naruto touched her. After they nodded to one another and separated by many yards, Naruto made about 150 clones. The real Naruto ordered them to divide into 3 groups of 50, with one group working on the scythe, another on ninjutsu, and a third on taijutsu. The clones were supposed to disperse in an hour, so Naruto ran to his apartment, leaving the clones alone. He first went to get some ramen, and after an hour, he went to his bed and passed out due to the clones' memories. 4 years have passed. When Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata entered the academy building, they saw that today was the day to determine whether or not they were ready to become ninjas. They tied for first place in the class, with Hinata coming in second, but this was okay because Naruto and Sasuke enjoy pushing each other to the limit during training, and Hinata doesn't often train with them because her father mistreats her rather than teaching her. This infuriated Naruto and Sasuke, who wanted to practically tear off the balls of the Hyuga head, if he had any. For the first time, the three friends entered the classroom and discovered that everyone was actually quiet. This was because the test was about to be taken, and only a few people were confident. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata were the only ones who were confident. The three of them went upstairs and sat down to enjoy the silence until the two Chunin instructors entered the room and saw how quiet the class was. "I believe we are in a genjutsu, Iruka. In fact, our class is quiet," Mizuki remarked. Iruka said, "Huh?" Her laugh turned into a grave expression, which made everyone even more anxious. A written exam makes up the first portion of the test. The jutsu test is the second section. "We'll get started immediately," Iruka said. "Give this test your best effort." After gathering a stack of papers and giving half of them to Mizuki, the two instructors gave the papers to the students, who were startled by how thick they were. They then scanned the test. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata all said, "Done." It hasn't even been 5 minutes yet. They were finished already. They disregarded the other students' shocked expressions. When they handed the paper, even Mizuki and Iruka were taken aback. The two men graded the test and discovered that it was perfect. Iruka and Mizuki thought, "Damn." After an hour, every student had finished, and Iruka and Mizuki went straight to the jutsu section of the test. Students left the classroom one by one, sometimes with pride, and occasionally with sadness. Finally, it was Sasuke's turn. According to Naruto, "Good luck, Teme." "Good luck, Sasuke." Hinata also contributed. With a sly smile, Sasuke stepped outside and returned inside, wearing a brand-new, shiny headband. Naruto and Hinata said, "Brats." "Thanks." Next up was Hinata, who entered wearing a headband around her neck and grinning. Naruto leapt to his feet and gave her a hug, causing Hinata to flush, and he whispered congratulations. Hinata kept thinking, "Don't faint, don't faint." Iruka yelled, "Naruto Uzumaki." As he left, Naruto said, "Wish me luck." Iruka began to say, "Okay Naruto, please clone and transform." If Naruto had known that his father was the fourth Hokage, his life would have been very different. Instead of using a clone jutsu, he made 100 Kage Bunshin appear, frightening all of the academy's teachers. Naruto made the hand sign for the transformation jutsu and transformed into his father. "How did you become familiar with the Kage Bunshin?" Iruka shouted as if inquiring. "The library. Because of my enormous chakra reserve, I was unable to perform the standard Bunshins," Naruto said matter of factly. "You succeed." When Iruka handed Naruto his headband, he smiled and entered the room wearing it strapped to his forehead. Hinata said, "Congratulations Naruto.kun." Sasuke grinned as he said, "Grats Dobi." Naruto made a raspberry, A-N. I believe that's the name of it, and stuck out his tongue. All of the students finished the jutsu test in about 20 minutes, and Iruka and Mizuki entered the room. Half of the class was depressed, and the other half was joyful. They literally formed sides, with graduates on one side of the room and failures on the other. The graduate's breath stopped when Iruka said, "Well, since Hokage Sama already made the team formations, me and Mizuki will call them out right now." They were about to learn their teams. As he flipped through the papers on his clipboard, Iruka said, "Okay, here are the teams." He continued to list the teams until he called Naruto out. "Team 1 will be," Iruka said. "Team 7 will be consisted of Naruto Uzumaki." Naruto halted breathing. "Sasuke Uchiha." When Iruka recited the next name, a smirk appeared on both men's faces, and they were shocked by the fact that this was actually happening. "And Sakura Haruno." "Quiet." "What?" Naruto and Sasuke yelled out at the same time. "Why?" "The teams won't be evenly distributed. The team will be made up of the weakest, smartest, and strongest members. You guys are the strongest, while Sakura is the weakest and smartest. Team 7 would be too overwhelming if Hinata were on your team," Iruka remarked. "Sasuke, Hinata, and I work together like no two have ever done. That counts, doesn't it?" Sasuke nodded in agreement as Naruto shouted. "I apologize, folks. You simply have to deal with it." Iruka was talking to Naruto and Sasuke, and Hinata was crying so much that her tears could form a river. Despite Iruka's explanation of why they weren't on the same teams, Hinata was still perplexed by the fact that all three of them worked so well together and that their teamwork was perfect. Naruto even said as much when he saw Hinata crying. He put his arm around her, and she put her head on Naruto's shoulder, sobbing uncontrollably. Naruto also shed a few tears, and Sasuke shed a few of his own. As Uchiha, he had to control his emotions, and he was failing at the moment. Iruka looked at the trio and sighed. He practically knew this was going to happen. He looked at his clipboard and started reciting the teams again. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Aburame. All three remained silent. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shoji Akamichi, and Shikamaru Nara. Iruka recited all the teams, but none of the three spoke. In 20 minutes, your squad leader will arrive. Everyone in the class remained silent and waited for their teachers until Hinata's sensei arrived. Iruka and Mizuki left the room, leaving the special trio to grieve. Everyone knew that Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata were best friends and that teamwork was the best. 8th team. Kurenai said, "I'm Kurenai Yuhi. Please follow me." Seeing the girl in tears, Kurenai made the decision to speak with her about the incident later. Kiba and Shino got up from their chairs and trailed behind Kurenai. It was heartbreaking when Naruto sobbed, "You got to go, Hinata-chan." Hinata got up and said, "Hi, she always follows Naruto's instructions." "Goodbye, Hinata-chan." Naruto hugged her, and to her surprise, Sasuke hugged her as well, whispering, "See you later." Hinata didn't blush because she was too sad. "All right, let's get together later," Naruto inquired. Naruto and Sasuke returned to their seats and sat down without saying anything, while Hinata just nodded her head and walked away with her team. In the meantime, Sakura Haruno, one of the girls still in the Sasuke fan club, felt very excluded and unwelcome by her team. For the first time in her life, she was not bothering Sasuke, and she felt that they needed some alone time, so she chose to keep quiet. No one spoke for 2 hours until a Cyclops ninja, wearing a mask, entered through the door. The ninja, a former Anbu captain named Kakashi Hitaki, was shocked because the team usually yelled at him when he was late. Kakashi waved and said, "Yo Naruto and Sasuke." They both mumbled, "Hey." Kakashi sighed as he recalled the flashback, knowing that Hinata was not on their team and that he needed to discuss which team Hinata should be on. Rewind. All of the Junin were assembled in the Hokage's office, and they all understood their purpose: to select some genin teams. The Junin were discussing which teams they would be assigned to when the Hokage entered, and everyone fell silent. Sarutobi took a seat in his chair and turned to face the Junin. Sarutobi said, "You all understand why you were called here, so is there anyone who would like a particular team?" "I would like Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, and Hinata Hyuga," said a red-eyed woman. "I want to start a team for tracking and location." Kakashi's eyes grew wide. He had to do something to keep the three of them together. "Hold on. I want Sasuke Uchiha, Hinata Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki," shouted Kakashi. "Kakashi," remarked Sarutobi, "Kurenai's team is flawless. Kiba is the failure, Hinata is the strength, and Shino is the intelligence. The team led by Naruto and Sasuke will be too strong if Hinata is included. Sakura Haruno is someone I would suggest. She possesses both intelligence and weakness. She is simply another crazed fangirl. She will simply slow us down. Not even Sakura has trained with us. Hokage Sama, hurry, they'll crush the trio," Kakashi argued. The final response is no, Kakashi. Kurenai's squad will include Hinata Hyuga. Your team will include Sakura Haruno. Knowing he couldn't argue with the Hokage, Kakashi sighed and placed his back against the wall. End of flashback. Hitaki Kakashi is your sensei. Sakura was the only one who was unsure of what to do, so he said, "Follow me to the rooftop." Sakura got up and followed Kakashi, while Naruto and Sasuke hung back for a few minutes, knowing where to go already. After 10 minutes or so, they both left. Sasuke and Naruto ascended the stairs to the roof. Due to Hinata's absence from their team, they were both still depressed. How could they experience this? They were the closest of friends, and they split them up? Sakura was sitting on some stairs when Naruto opened the door. Kakashi was resting against the rail on his back. Kakashi joked, "About time you showed up." Sasuke and Naruto did not respond. Both of them took seats on the stairs and bided their time until the former Anbu captain spoke. Kakashi thought, "They are still depressed." Kakashi shook his head and said, "Let's get to know each other. Tell me your name, dislikes, likes, hobbies, and dreams." Sakura said, "Why don't you go first, sensei?" "Fine," Kakashi replied. "I am Hitaki Kakashi. You don't need to know my dislikes, or likes. My hobbies and dreams are none of your business." Sakura remarked, "We only learned your name. Your point?" asked Kakashi. Naruto remarked, "I already know you, Kakashi. Sensei." Sasuke gave a nod. Kakashi gestured to Sakura and said, "Pinky, you go first." She glared at Naruto as she said, "My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes are, my dislikes are, my hobbies are," and then she turned back to face Sasuke and said, "My dreams are." In frustration, Sasuke rolled his eyes. Naruto laughed. He was aware of Sasuke's constant annoyance with fangirls. Naruto was also irritated. Kakashi thought, "Another crazy fangirl, just as I predicted." "Naruto," said Kakashi. Sakura caught Naruto's attention. It was pointless to look at Kakashi and Sasuke because they already knew him. "I am Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are, my friends, and training. My dislikes are annoying fangirls. My hobbies are training and hanging out with my friends. My dream is to be Hokage and the best elemental master there is." Kakashi gave nod. Sasuke also gave a nod. Sakura was simply perplexed. What was he discussing? Master of Elementals. What is that? Sakura was perplexed, so Naruto said, "I will explain later." Kakashi announced, "Sasuke. I am Sasuke Uchiha. My likes are, friends and training. My dislikes are annoying fangirls. My hobbies are training and hanging out with friends. My dream is to help my friend become the best elemental master there is. My other dream is to revive my clan, and kill a certain someone." "You just copied Naruto," Sakura said. "By the way, you want to go out later?" Sasuke retorted, "So, it's true. No, by the way." Sakura stopped talking and started crying. Sasuke and Naruto pondered, "You got to go used to this. Tomorrow morning meeting me at training ground 7 at 8 a.m. Do not eat breakfast or else you will throw up." Kakashi decided to end the drama and vanished in a whirl of wind and leaves. Sasuke and Naruto exchanged nods. A whirl of wind carried Naruto away. Sakura was left alone when Sasuke vanished in a whirlpool of flames. Sakura left because she felt excluded, like a non-ninja. Sasuke and Naruto showed up where Hinata usually goes when she's depressed. The park's neighboring forest. The three of them located a small cave and designated it as their own space. The Uchiha fan was the mark. There was a swirl that symbolized Naruto where the fan was. Around the fan was the Hyuga symbol, which stood in for Hinata. They used a kunai to carve the symbol into the rock. When Naruto and Sasuke entered the cave, they discovered Hinata sobbing while sitting in a ball position. Like he did in the academy, Naruto jumped to Hinata right away and gave her a hug. Opposite them, Sasuke took a seat. For several minutes, they sat silently. "Hinata-chan," Naruto began, "we can still hang out together even though we are on different teams." Sasuke gave a nod of agreement. "I know that, it's just that," Hinata gasped. It's so sad and disip. Pointing that we or in different teams. Sasuke nodded and Naruto remarked, "I know. Me and Sasuke are sad too. We just have to deal with it, we can handle this." Sasuke declared, "I agree with Naruto." Hinata stammered, "If you guys agree, then I can agree." "Now that we got that out of the way, how about you tell us about your team?" said Naruto. Hi! Exclaimed Hinata. Before the best friends went to sleep, the three of them spoke for hours. The following day Naruto woke up as the sun shone on his face. The eyes of Naruto opened. Kakashi's test was scheduled for today. He knew it would be difficult, but he had no idea what it would be. One of Kakashi's go-to phrases was, "Look underneath the underneath." Naruto went about his daily business, dressed after taking a shower. As he made his way to Sasuke's apartment, Naruto vanished in a whirlwind. Naruto arrived and knocked on the door. Naruto entered after Sasuke opened the door. As Naruto entered the kitchen and saw the breakfast spread out, he inquired, "Why do you have breakfast out?" Kakashi. "Sensei is always 2 hours late. Since it is only 7 o'clock right now, I might as well eat," replied Sasuke. Then Naruto said, "Can I have some?" "Sure." Naruto sat down opposite Sasuke and began to eat. It was better than nothing, even though it wasn't ramen. The two friends were done about half an hour later. After setting the dishes next to the refrigerator, Sasuke and Naruto departed. As Sasuke locked the door, Naruto asked, So what are we going to do now? Let's go to the training ground to warn Sakura. She will have to know about Kakashi's tardiness. Sasuke offered. Naruto remarked, weird, I thought you hate her. Sasuke said, I do, but we are teammates. Naruto gave a nod. Sasuke and Naruto ran to the training area. Some of the villagers were glaring at Naruto as they ran through the village. Naruto and Sasuke had no idea why. Sakura was leaning against a tree when they got to the training field. Hitaki Kakashi was the most unexpected. In fact, he arrived on schedule. Naruto and Sasuke thought, Shimada. Don't worry, don't worry. I am just a clone of Kakashi. The real Kakashi got sick. The test will be held tomorrow. The replica of Kakashi stated. The clone spread out. Sasuke remarked, well, this was a waste of our times. Sasuke.kun, replied Sakura, do you want to go on a date with me sometime? Naruto gave an eye roll. Sasuke replied, no. Sakura began to sob as she ran home. She ought to be accustomed to this. It seems like she's asked Sasuke out 100 times already. Really? Naruto said, let's go check on Hinata. Chan. We can all go training. It appeared as though the Sakura incident never took place. Sasuke gave a nod. Let's go. In a whirl of wind and fire, the two vanished. Alongside Hinata with bruises, Hinata walked with her team. A great deal. The test was barely passed by Hinata, Kiba, and Shino. Kurenai's genjutsu caused the Kyuubi to appear. It wasn't an illusion hit when they were struck. It really was a hit. Shino became aware of a problem. There were only about 20 apple trees in the forest where they were all supposed to meet. Kurenai stated that there were only 30. Kurenai added that you were in a genjutsu if something was supposed to be absent. After Shino learned that, they started formulating a strategy. The team succeeded after a few minutes. Despite having her Byakugan activated, Hinata was unable to identify the weakness. Kurenai. Sensei clarified yesterday that genjutsu was composed of layers. It becomes more difficult to crack the more layers the user applies. The team left as soon as they were close to Ichiraku. Kiba and Shino both went to his house. Hinata waited for Naruto and Sasuke at Ichiraku. Hinata was startled when Naruto and Sasuke materialized directly in front of her. Naruto apologized right away. Naruto said, Hinata. Chan, wanna go training? Fast. Talking, Sasuke said, I don't think she can't, she seems very wounded. Hinata said, I'm fine. I'm just tired. Your well-being is important than training Hinata. Chan. Naruto replied. Go to the hospital and get yourself fixed up. Despite her disappointment, Hinata nodded. Hinata hobbled to the medical facility. After giving Sasuke a quick glance, Naruto remarked, that just leaves us. After Sasuke gave a nod, the two made their way into the forest. The two best friends were spotted making their way to Ichiraku ramen shop a few hours later. Both of them ordered miso ramen after they were seated. The ramen came in a few minutes. The pair got to work on the ramen. Mizuki came a few minutes later. Mizuki took a deep breath and took a seat. He pretended to be concerned. I see you guys are still down about the whole Hinata thing. Mizuki responded. Of course we are, Naruto remarked, we are the best of friends. Mizuki remarked, I know, so I decided I should help you guys. How? Inquired Naruto. Well, Mizuki began opining, if you can steal the Forbidden Scroll, and learn a jutsu, you can have Hinata on your team instead of Sakura. Really? Shouted Naruto. Sasuke remained silent, he watched Mizuki closely. According to Sasuke, something's up. Yup, Mizuki replied, just steal it and give it to me and I will report it to the Hokage. No problem, exclaimed Naruto. Taking Sasuke by the wrist, he ran out of the store. Before he left, Mizuki saw Sasuke give him a suspicious look. No problem, Mizuki thought, there are only genin. With a sly smile, Mizuki walked out of the Ichiraku store. Tower of Hokage unnoticed. Naruto and Sasuke slipped past the Jonin guards. After running up the stairs, Naruto and Sasuke slightly opened the door to get a sneak peek inside. There was nobody inside. Naruto declared, there is no one inside. Let's leave. Sasuke remarked, I still don't think this is a good idea. He was concerned. There was something about Mizuki that moved him, suspicious. Naruto exclaimed, Mizuki. Sensei even said so, it's okay. Sasuke and Naruto slipped by the door. In order to find a chakra signature, Sasuke turned on his Sharingan. Sasuke quickly discovered a safe inside the wall. After opening the safe, Sasuke informed Naruto that he had located it. Both of them ran out the door and into the woods. The old man, as Naruto calls the third Hokage, entered his office. He had just returned from a walk through the village. The Hokage made the decision to go for a walk because it was a lovely night. The Hokage noticed something was wrong when he sat down in his chair. As soon as he recognized it, he pressed a button to call forth Anbu, Jonin, and a few Chunin. Sarutobi demanded, "The scroll of Forbidden Seal has been stolen. Get it back at once." "Hi!" shouted the ninja group. Unaware that Naruto and Sasuke had taken the scroll, all of the ninja leapt to their feet. Sasuke and Naruto were seated and examining the scroll. The fact that dozens of shinobi were out searching for them was unknown to them. They were both aware that they were currently the most sought after individuals. Sasuke was standing next to Naruto as he looked through the scroll. After discovering a cool fire jutsu, Sasuke made the decision to learn it. The sensation he was experiencing was still unpleasant to him. Naruto would have also noticed, but his excitement prevented him from seeing it. After locating a jutsu, Naruto began to replicate the seals. Iruka showed up just as Naruto was finishing the hand signs. "Naruto?" inquired Iruka. "What's up?" inquired Naruto. Iruka yelled and asked, "Why do you have that scroll instead?" "Mizuki Sensei said if me and Sasuke can learn a jutsu from here, Hinata will be on our team." When Iruka turned to face Sasuke, he was nodding. It made Iruka think, "Damn it, Mizuki." Iruka felt a sharp pain on his back before he realized it. A giant shuriken was stabbed in his back when he slowly turned his head. "Iruka, it's too late now," Mizuki exclaimed as he leapt from the trees. Iruka began to weaken and dropped to his knees. On his face, he collapsed. Naruto dropped to his knees and questioned, "Iruka Sensei, what was that for?" he shouted, glaring at Mizuki. Mizuki remained silent. He sprinted over to the scroll. Sasuke tackled him to the ground as soon as he was within arm's reach. "Naruto!" exclaimed Sasuke. With a nod, Naruto made a clone. "Go get the scroll and leave," he instructed the clone. With the scroll in his hand, the clone nodded and ran away. "No!" exclaimed Mizuki. To get to the clone, Mizuki ran. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Mizuki slammed into a couple of trees due to a gust of wind. Mizuki got to his feet and trimmed the wood that protruded from his skin. Mizuki's fist went up as she ran to Naruto. Naruto remained silent. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Mizuki had to change direction when a ball of fire was thrown in her direction. Leaping to his feet, he fastened himself to a tree. Mizuki said, "Rookies of the Year are proving their title. HN." Naruto made the decision to become serious. He will be fighting for the first time. Naruto thought, time to bring out Red Death. Naruto caused blood to flow from his thumb by biting it. Naruto smeared the blood onto his wrist seal. Suddenly, Naruto's hand held 2 yard sides. Naruto assumed his unique stance and swung his scythe around his head. Naruto yelled, "Mizuki," as he charged. Mizuki was taken aback by the unexpected display of weapons. Mizuki produced a pair of kunais. Sasuke also followed suit. Mizuki decided that Sasuke would be the easiest, so she ran to him. For now, he disregarded Naruto. Fighting 2 of the year's rookies at once was challenging. Naruto flew to a tree after Mizuki ducked and kicked him in the stomach. Mizuki rushed toward Sasuke. Sasuke was able to infiltrate every attack Mizuki launched with his Sharingan. With his right hand, Sasuke swung and ducked, creating a dash on Mizuki's shirt. Mizuki immediately resumed his attack on Sasuke. After tackling Mizuki to the ground, Naruto prepared for battle. Mizuki stood up and made a swing. Naruto swung the blade at Mizuki's head after blocking it with the butt of his scythe. Mizuki swung at Naruto's shin after ducking. After doing a backflip, Naruto found himself at Mizuki's back. Naruto swiftly wrapped Mizuki's neck with the curved portion. Mizuki was confronted by Sasuke, who protruded his 2 kunais. "Done," said Naruto. According to Sasuke, "Give up." "Hey," exclaimed Mizuki. "Dai Uchiha." Mizuki poofed her way to extinction. Naruto and Sasuke thought, "Clone." Sasuke had a gigantic shuriken protruding from his back before he realized it. Sasuke tried, but failed, to get to his feet. He collapsed to his knees and landed face down. "Sasuke!" shouted Naruto. "Get up!" Sasuke did not answer. "Get up, Sasuke!" cried Naruto. "Nothing. Sasuke!" exclaimed Naruto. With clenched fists, Naruto rose steadily. He was trembling. It was too much to bear. Naruto sensed a shift in his physical state. Something new seemed to have happened to him. Before Naruto knew it, his body was crackling with electricity as he let out a scream of pure rage. Anger filled his body. This was the first time he felt this way. Losing a significant other, he was being pushed to the limit by this fight. He was angry, and he was tired. Naruto Uzumaki was surrounded by crackling lightning bolts. His new element has come to life. Lightning. Naruto ran in Mizuki's direction. Mizuki's shout caused him to stop in his tracks. "Have you ever wondered why the villagers hate you, Naruto?" replied Mizuki. Although Naruto remained silent, his curiosity overcame him. "Yeah, I always did." "Well, this is the reason. You are the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi is sealed inside you. You're just a human-formed monster," Mizuki screamed. Naruto was even more depressed, but he was also furious. Why did the Kyuubi have to be sealed inside the fourth Hokage? The village was crowded with infants. Why him? The fourth Hokages were to blame. Naruto dismissed the idea with a shake. This was not as important as getting even with Sasuke. Naruto cried out, "I'm not a monster." Naruto's body exploded with a lightning bolt that rushed in Mizuki's direction. Mizuki had not had time to dodge the sudden electricity, which still startled him. He was sent flying back when the lightning struck directly at him. As he studied his body, Naruto thought, "This feeling, lightning, my new element." Naruto sprayed his feet with lightning. Before long, his feet began to crackle. Naruto sped in Mizuki's direction. He was actually running as fast as the speed of light. With his fist cocked back, Naruto delivered a forceful blow to Mizuki. Regardless, Mizuki grabbed Naruto's fist and drew him in. Naruto skidded back after Mizuki punched him in the face. "I don't know any lightning jutsus," said Naruto. "But it seems like I can control the lightning. Let's see." Mizuki and Naruto both pointed with 2 fingers. With his eyes closed, Naruto blasted Mizuki with a lightning bolt. Mizuki was struck by the lightning bolt and flew back once more. Rising, Mizuki hurled the large shuriken at Naruto. Naruto charged after ducking beneath it. Mizuki used his wrist to block Naruto's attempt to kick his face. Mizuki took hold of Naruto's ankle and slammed him to the ground, creating a tiny crater in the process. Mizuki persisted in his attack, punching Naruto repeatedly into the ground. After rolling aside, Naruto kicked Mizuki's feet. Naruto kicked his back to the ground as Mizuki went to his knees. Naruto grabbed his scythe and wrapped his neck around the curved blade. Mizuki swiftly improvised and kicked Naruto's back with unexpected dexterity. Mizuki leapt back up and hurled multiple shuriken. Naruto used his scythe to block some of the shuriken. He was struck by about 2 shuriken. He had one on his right arm and one on his shoulder. Mizuki grinned. "You know I can beat you. I am after all a rank higher than you." Mizuki chuckled. Naruto gave Mizuki a scowl. After sprinting ahead, Naruto pressed a button on the scythe's underside. The scythe's blade abruptly broke free, and Naruto grabbed hold of it. Mizuki blocked the curved blade that Naruto threw at him with a kunai. Naruto now brandished a new staff and ran in Mizuki's direction. Mizuki was beside Naruto when he swung the staff. Mizuki kicked Naruto's feet after ducking beneath the swipe. Mizuki was sidestepped and uppercut by Naruto. Mizuki soared toward a tree. Gazing at Naruto, he affixed himself to the tree. Mizuki reflected, he is more than what meets the eye. His eyes widened abruptly as he heard something approaching quickly from behind him. With a quick backflip, Mizuki realized the scythe's blade was about to stab him. Mizuki turned to face Naruto and saw that he was staring at him from the palm of his hand. Naruto managed to catch the blade as it flew into his hand. He reattached the blade to the staff with haste. Mizuki thought in surprise, "Wow." Naruto gave Mizuki a scowl. He raised his hand and extended his palm. From his palm, a lightning bolt shot out, speeding in Mizuki's direction. Mizuki took the full force of the attack and had no time to duck. Mizuki was hurled backward and collided with multiple tree branches. At last, Mizuki smashed into a tree and plummeted back down. Naruto suddenly materialized and planted one foot on Mizuki's back as she fell to the ground. Naruto wrapped Mizuki's neck with the scythe's blade portion. As Mizuki thought, "Damn it." Naruto grinned at his success. In fact, he defeated a shinobi who was 1 rank higher than him. He was quite pleased with himself. He would have celebrated by dancing, but the stakes were too high. "I could kill you right now, but I chose not to. You broke the 3rd Hokage's law and revealed the secret." That is punishable by death. I would be happy to do that, but I would leave that to the Anbu and the Hokage, Naruto said, glaring at Mizuki and whispering in his ear. The Hokage and the Anbu arrived about a minute later. The Hokage ordered them to leave after the Anbu detained Mizuki. Naruto and the Hokage were now alone. The Hokage commanded, "Tell me," but Naruto collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Looks like I got to get the information out of Mizuki. If he doesn't talk, then I will have to resort to Ibiki. Sarutobi was thinking. With Naruto in his arms, the elderly man left and made his way to the hospital. The following day, as Naruto began to regain consciousness, his eyes popped open. When Naruto opened his eyes, he saw the ceiling's white tiles. Naruto moaned as soon as he realized where he was. Naruto thought, "I hate hospitals." His body was restrained when he attempted to get out of bed. He had several cords fastened to his body, and Naruto saw that he had wires fastened to his ankles and wrists. As he entered, Sarutobi remarked, "I knew you were going to try and escape, Naruto." Naruto flushed with shame. The elderly man's expression darkened. Naruto became quite anxious upon seeing the solemn expression. Sarutobi ordered, "Calm down, Naruto. Just explain what happened." Naruto gave a nod. He began discussing their encounter in Ichiraku, how he and Sasuke had stolen the scroll, how they had fought Mizuki, how he had awakened his new element, and how he had beaten the living daylights out of Mizuki. Sarutobi gave a nod. Naruto's gaze expanded. "Sasuke!" exclaimed Naruto. Naruto struggled to get out of bed and exclaimed, "Where is he?" Sarutobi found it difficult to restrain him. Age was catching up with him. Sarutobi tried to reassure Naruto by saying, "He is okay. Just give him a few days rest. His back will be as good as new." That worked. After a short while, Hinata stormed into the room and began embracing Naruto. When they burst through the door and embraced him, Naruto was shocked. Naruto realized she was crying when he heard a few sobs. In an attempt to calm her, Naruto wrapped both of his arms around her. Sarutobi stepped away from the pair to give them some space. The only sound coming from the room was Hinata's sobs. Naruto was only able to comfort Hinata by putting his arms around her. Naruto comforted Hinata-chan, saying, "I'm here, don't worry." But Naruto was taken aback. There was never anyone to look after him. Nobody was concerned about him. His entire existence was in agony. He was now aware of the reasons behind his torture, beatings, robberies, attempted murders, and everything else you can think of that had to do with torture. He was only looked after and cared for by Sarutobi, Hinata, Sasuke, and Kakashi. Additionally, Naruto mentally noted that he needed to discuss something with Sarutobi. "Ik. No, it's just T. That why you could H. Have D. Died." Hinata wept. "I won't die until I can become Hokage Hinata-chan," said Naruto. Hinata continued to cry until her tears dried up. She looked up to see Naruto grinning. Regardless of the circumstance, Naruto always smiles. He smiles even though he is facing a formidable foe. It was quite unexpected that he always smiled, but that was just his personality. However, it's also a little unsettling. Hinata also grinned. "UN. Need why? Your re.est." Hinata stammered, "I guess I should leave." Hinata walked out after opening the door. "Wait!" shouted Naruto. Hinata inquired inquisitively, "What is it, Naruto-kun?" Rubbing the back of his head, Naruto said, Can you get me some ramen?" Hinata replied, Haha. Sure." She left the room to get Naruto some ramen. Is the key word. Naruto sat in bed by himself. He was unable to do anything until he left this hellhole, as he refers to it. Naruto detested hospitals. The following day, lying down on his hospital bed was Naruto Uzumaki. He was incredibly bored. There was nothing he could do in these fucking hospitals. When he left, he received brief visits from Sasuke, Kakashi, Sarutobi, Hinata, and Sasuke. Hinata stayed in Naruto's room for the majority of the day. She couldn't really do anything else anyway. Naruto let out a sigh. Kakashi had an unexpected mission. It was Sarutobi in his office. Hinata had training with her father, and Sasuke was most likely training. Naruto ignited an idea a few moments later. According to the doctor, his chakra returned a few days ago. Naruto yelled, "Why didn't I think of this before?" Making a cross over his heart, Naruto muttered. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. About 250 Narutos emerged a second later. Some of the clones were outside on the trees because the room could only accommodate 50 people. Naruto surveyed his surroundings, appreciating his creation. Naruto yelled. Split up into groups of 50. Sneak into the library and get scrolls about lightning and wind jutsus. One group of 100 on lightning, one group of 50 works on wind, and the other 100 works on the jutsu we found in the scroll. Disperse in 2 hours, move out. Everyone in the group shouted, "Hi," at once. Running off, the clones made their way to the training grounds. With so many Narutos running around, the village was bewildered. The real Naruto fainted 2 hours later. Naruto passed out 3 hours later. The eyes of Naruto opened. Naruto sat up after opening his eyes fully. After he fainted, he recalled the data the clones had sent him. Naruto grinned at his newfound knowledge. Naruto acquired 8 additional wind jutsus in addition to 7 lightning jutsus. Oh, how beautiful clones are. Clones can operate very quickly. The development of the jutsu from the Forbidden Scroll caused Naruto to scowl. The clones did very little. They only finished the hand signals. Naruto scowled at the intricacy of the hand signals. Naruto let out a sigh and shrugged. Starting at the ceiling, he rested his head on his pillow. Kakashi entered the room a short while later. Kakashi took a seat in a chair by the bed. Naruto inquired, "What's up, Kakashi?" "Sensei." The Hokage informed about what happened. "I'm very proud of you. You managed to defeat a shinobi a rank higher than you and you managed to get the lightning element. I shall teach you some lightning jutsus later," informed. Then Naruto asked, "How about now, huh?" asked Kakashi. Naruto said, "I can use my clones." The statement from Kakashi was true. Make 100 clones and we will be on our way. 100 clones were called forth and instructed by Naruto. Outside, the clones hung on the trees, waiting. Kakashi gave nod. Kakashi recalled something significant. "Naruto," said Kakashi. Inquired Naruto. "You, Sasuke, and Sakura will be taking the genin test once you get out, which will be in a week," Kakashi said. Then Naruto said, "Okay. Let's go, clones," exclaimed Kakashi. The clones followed Kakashi to the training ground after he leapt out the window. Naruto began to nod off, saying, "More training for me then." Slowly, Naruto's eyes opened. He assumed he was in his room once his eyes were open. Naruto had flashbacks of what had transpired. It has been around a month since the Mizuki incident. Naruto was discharged from the hospital a week ago. Naruto rose and went about his daily business, dressed after taking a shower. Naruto thought his outfit didn't look very cool, so he changed it. His swirl was now on the back of a red short-sleeve shirt. Under his shirt was a long-sleeved dark blue shirt. Naruto chose to mimic the 4th Hokage's image, albeit slightly altering it, because he was his idol. Blood-red flames ran along the edges of Naruto's long, black coat. His kanji was, Wool of Fire. Additionally, Naruto wore black shorts with numerous pockets for scrolls and weapons. He had bandages on his right arm, the one Sasuke wore in Gaara vs Sasuke, and a fingerless glove on his right hand. Naruto proudly wore his headband, strapping it to his forehead. Next, Naruto fastened a pair of weights to his legs. He believed that Kakashi and Sasuke were slow during the first few days of their training. The pair has been wearing leg weights on their ankles since that day. Smaller weights were also fastened to their wrists. Team 7 was scheduled to conduct the actual genin test today. The examination that will ultimately determine their suitability as a shinobi. After locking his apartment, Naruto hurried out the door. To check if Sasuke was still at his apartment, Naruto jogged over. Naruto ran to the door of Sasuke's apartment and rapped on it. "Yo Sasuke!" exclaimed Naruto. Sasuke opened the door shortly after, fully clothed. His uniform was a high-colored black shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the back. His shorts were dark blue and had numerous pockets for weapons. On his right hand, he wore a glove without fingers. On his forehead was his headband. His right arm was covered in bandages that matched Naruto's exactly. Because he created genin, he made the decision to alter his appearance. With that, Sasuke asked, "What do you want?" "It is 7 o'clock, Kakashi said 8 o'clock. "We have the bell test in an hour," Naruto clarified. "Dude, Kakashi. Sensei is always 2 hours late. He will be there at 10 o'clock. "No worries," Sasuke replied. Naruto replied, "True, what do we do now?" Sasuke yelled, "How should I know? I was just about to go meet you." For a moment, Naruto considered it. The truth was what Sasuke was saying. In fact, he didn't know what to do. Naruto remarked, "I can't think of anything." Sasuke concurred, "Same." They both shrugged. Naruto sat down on the couch after Sasuke let him inside. Naruto asked, "What are we going to do for 3 hours?" Sasuke said, I got it," exclaimed Naruto. Naruto shouted. To the training ground. Naruto grabbed Sasuke's arm and ran off to the training ground before he could react. Sakura was sitting atop a post when Naruto leapt into the training area a short while later. Sakura retorted, "What took you guys so long?" In response, Sasuke said, "None of your business." Sakura lowered her head in embarrassment. Sakura persisted even though Sasuke would never accept her. She knew in her heart that it would never happen. Sakura returned to the post without saying anything. Sasuke turned to face Naruto and said, "Naruto, why are we here?" Sheeping, Naruto said, "How should I know?" Sasuke was about to reply when Kakashi showed up. Naruto exclaimed, "You're on time. Holy shit," with Sasuke. Kakashi said, "Yo." Kakashi's expression darkened. Sasuke and Naruto had never seen Kakashi so solemn. His face looked like he was in Anbu, even though they trained with him. Sasuke and Naruto approached the gravity. Defying ninja. Sakura leapt from the post to join the three of them. Taking a timer from his pocket, Kakashi set it on the post Sakura was standing on. He set the timer for 12 o'clock. He took out 2 bells as well. "This is your objective," Kakashi stated. "Get these 2 bells before 12 o'clock. If you don't, you guys are going back to the academy. Come at me with the intent to kill. Oh, and by the way, there is only a 66% chance of passing." Sakura began, "Sensei, but there are only 2 bells, we're 3. "Your point being?" retorted Kakashi. The 3 genin vanished into the forest, saying, "Your test begins." Now, Sakura by herself, Naruto and Sasuke together. Leaning his back against a tree, Kakashi pulled out his perverted book. Sasuke and Naruto proposed, "Want to try doing that combo?" Then Sasuke smiled, "Hey." Sasuke and Naruto ran in Kakashi's direction. The Kakashi sighed as he saw the 2 sprinting in his direction. There was going to be trouble with these 2. Surprisingly, Kakashi prepared and returned his book to his pouch. Kakashi was aware of their abilities and believed that the 2 of them could nearly defeat him. 10 clones were made by Naruto, and Kakashi was attacked by them. Kakashi eliminated all of the clones by blocking and scattering them. When Kakashi turned around, he saw Sasuke weaving some hand seals. Sasuke shouted, "Fire style! Flaming Hawk!" Sasuke spat out a 2-yard firebird after forming a ring around his mouth. Kakashi ducked beneath the hawk as it sped toward him. Kakashi questioned, "That's the best you can do? A C-rank jutsu?" Naruto made more clones while standing next to Sasuke. While Naruto and Sasuke began weaving hand signals, the clones attacked Kakashi. Kakashi looked back at the 2 after the clones were finished. Naruto was alone after Sasuke left. After finishing his hand signals, Naruto shouted, "Wind style! Divine wind current!" Naruto's hands exploded into a wind tornado that struck Kakashi. As he began to float through the air, Kakashi began to sustain multiple wounds. Kakashi muttered an expletive. Kakashi muttered, "I shouldn't have told them to come at me with the intent to kill." "Sasuke!" exclaimed Naruto. Sasuke shouted as he emerged from behind the bushes. "Fire style! Running fire!" Sasuke began to encircle the wind tornado after spitting out a line of fire. The tornado began to form a flaming inferno as the fire engulfed it. As Kakashi was being burned and sliced to death, all he could do was scream in agony. The fire subsided a short while later, and Kakashi collapsed to the ground. Kakashi did not move. Sasuke and Naruto approached Kakashi and seized the bells. Both Kakashi and the bells poofed away. "Shadow clone!" exclaimed Naruto. "Earth style, double suicide decapitation." Sasuke's head was left behind as hands materialized beneath him and he was pulled into the ground. Prior to being engulfed, Naruto was able to leap back. Innocently, Kakashi leapt from the earth. To remain hidden, Naruto fled back into the forest. Kakashi pulled out his book and leaned back against the tree. Sasuke let out a frustrated groan. Naruto in search of Sakura. Naruto was racing through the forest. Naruto reasoned that the team needed to cooperate in order to obtain the bells. In order to search for Sakura, Naruto made a few bunshins. A bunshin scattered a few moments later, and Naruto raced in that direction. Sakura was startled a few minutes later when Naruto leapt in front of her. Sakura screamed, "Naruto! Baka, stop scaring me!" Naruto caught her wrist as she threw a punch at him. "Slow down!" Naruto commanded. Sakura complied and said nothing. Look, Naruto started out by saying, we need to work together. We can't beat Kakashi Sensei without using teamwork. We need each other. She grumbled, huh? Sasuke-kun can do way better than you and I combined. He can handle it by himself. Taking Sakura by the wrist, Naruto pointed to Sasuke and said, oh yeah? Then why is he in the earth right now? Sasuke-kun! Exclaimed Sakura. Naruto snarled, damn it Sakura! Shut up! Sakura glanced back at Sasuke after glancing at Naruto. She had to agree with Naruto for the first time in her life. Sakura caught Naruto's attention for a few seconds. A voice said, follow me. Naruto. Sakura obeyed him and followed him. Kakashi and Kakashi started to say, you know Sasuke, that was kind of easy. Sighing, Sasuke said, shut up sensei. Kakashi simply grinned and continued reading. His moment was over when he caught a glimpse of clones attacking him out of the corner of his eye. Specifically, clones of Naruto. Kakashi put his book down and prepared himself. Kakashi found himself surrounded by clones. Beaten and poofing away were the only sounds audible. Sakura moved to remove Sasuke as smoke filled the room. When Sakura dug Sasuke out, he grabbed her and fled. After finishing, Kakashi waited for the smoke to clear. The true Naruto was standing in front of Kakashi when the smoke cleared, and Sasuke had vanished. Kakashi let out a sigh. Kakashi clarified, you know you can't beat me alone Naruto. Naruto grinned and said, I know. Sasuke shouted as he leapt from the bushes. Sasuke exclaimed, fire style. Fireball jutsu, and a fireball blasted from his mouth, racing in Kakashi's direction. Kakashi avoided the fire by performing a front flip. Naruto raced in Kakashi's direction. Kakashi leaned over after Naruto kicked his knee. Kakashi then flew into the air after Naruto kicked his chin. Sasuke leapt on Naruto's back and punched Kakashi in the face as Naruto leaned over. Kakashi slammed Sasuke onto Naruto after blocking it with his wrist. They both fell to the ground with a crash. Disguised as a rock, Sakura appeared out of nowhere and tried to seize the bells. However, Sakura was thrown to a tree by Kakashi, who grabbed her by the wrist. The tree broke in two when Sakura crashed into it. Naruto stood up, began weaving with hand signals, and shouted. Lighting style. Lightning arrow. Naruto's hand suddenly held a lightning bow. A lightning arrow was swiftly released by Naruto, and it raced in Kakashi's direction. Sasuke abruptly kicked Kakashi in the cheek after he ducked under the attack. Sakura received a nod from Sasuke. Sakura returned the nod. Sasuke vanished. Sakura leapt to her feet and hurled several shuriken at Kakashi. Kakashi blocked each shuriken with a kunai. Arms sprang up and seized Kakashi's ankles as the words, Earth style, double suicide decapitation, sounded. Sasuke grabbed the bells from underground after Kakashi was engulfed there. Sasuke leapt to his feet and turned to face Kakashi. Kakashi inquired, how did you know that jutsu? Sasuke grinned and said, my Sharingan of course. Naruto approached him and slapped him on the forehead. Sakura was disappointed when Sasuke tossed the bell to Naruto. Kakashi smiled as he emerged from his trap. According to Kakashi, you all pass. How? Inquired Sakura. Recalling his past, Kakashi explained, the whole point in this test was about teamwork. If you don't learn how to work with a team, you will have a 75% chance of dying. Kakashi remained silent in response. When Kakashi said, remember these two lines as well, Sakura became perplexed. 1. Look underneath the underneath. During their training, Naruto and Sasuke understood what he meant. The other one is, probably the most important one too. Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. None of the three genin could speak. The second line in particular was ingrained in their hearts. Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto were aware that they would perish if they did not work as a team. They're worse than scum if they fail to rescue someone who has been abducted. Naruto gave Kakashi a look. Sensei, Naruto began to say, I will never do that, you have my word for it. I never go back on my word. That's my Nindo, shinobi way. Sasuke said, I agree with Naruto. Sakura stated, I agree with Sasuke-kun. Naruto gave an eye roll. Kakashi gave his team a smile. Suddenly, Kakashi was reminded of his former team. Naruto picked up a picture of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. Obito, who was also Uchiha, was adopted by Sasuke. Sakura picked up a picture of his old crush, Rin Inuzuka. Under his mask, Kakashi smiled and sighed. Okay. Since you guys are officially my team, I have to tell you guys something. It's about the rookie teams. Every team is designed to have a special ability. Team 8, Hinata's team, is designed to be a tracking team. Kiba's sense of smell, Hinata's Byakugan, and Shino's bugs. The Ino Shika Cho team is designed to be a distraction team. Shikamaru's ability is to trap people in his shadow and make the enemy mimic his moves. Ino with her mind jutsu and Choji with his pounding jutsus. Our team is designed to be a power team. Naruto and Sasuke know some pretty destructive moves. Sakura is our book smart person in this team. Kakashi said. All three genin merely gave a nod. Kakashi's explanation of the teams made perfect sense. Sakura's head dropped in embarrassment. She was the only rookie team member who didn't have any destructive moves in his mind. Her rival, Ino, constantly claimed that she was weak in comparison. Although Sakura never agreed with her, she secretly knew that Ino was right. They were the rookie team's weakest member. In the history of the Leaf, she was the weakest kunoichi. Okay, now that we got that settled, I will explain our schedule. We will work every day except Saturdays. That Saturday is your break day. Our first month together will be focused on our physical appearance. We will run around the village, do numerous amount of push-ups, sit-ups, and every work-out I can think of my Anbu days. Kakashi clarified. Sasuke and Naruto both nodded. Both of them were aware of the precise workout Kakashi was referring to. Sakura went pale. Do you want to run around the village? That isn't feasible? Our next month will work on ninjutsu. The month after that we shall work on taijutsu. Got it? Kakashi was done. The genin gave a nod. Kakashi said, your training begins tomorrow. Be right here at 9 a.m. The genin gave a nod. In a whirl of leaves and wind, Kakashi vanished. A whirl of wind carried Naruto away. Sasuke vanished in a whirlpool of flame. Sakura left with a shrug. At last, Naruto and Sasuke reached the training area. Kakashi noticed that they were both perspiring. The ninja Cyclop grinned beneath his mask. He commanded the three of them to run 5 times around the village. When Sakura heard the order, her face went white. They began to flee as Kakashi yelled at them. The three genin have been gone for an hour and 30 minutes. Sakura wasn't with them, Kakashi observed. The number of times Sakura ran around has been counted by Kakashi. She had only completed 6 laps. Kakashi let out a sigh. He had to make Sakura resemble Sasuke and Naruto exactly. Strong and well. Fitting. Sakura had nothing more than book smarts. He looked through Sakura's files from her time at the academy. She passed all of their thinking tests. She barely made it through the academy's physical requirements. Sasuke and Naruto excelled in every aspect of the academy. While you guys are waiting for Sakura, take a 5-minute break. Kakashi stated. After giving a nod, the two boys approached a tree post. They took a seat with their backs to the ancient tree. Kakashi tossed 2 bottles of water to each of them. Sasuke and Naruto managed to capture the water bottles. After giving Sasuke a nod, Naruto opened their bottles. After giving it a quick glance, they sprayed it all over themselves. Beneath his mask, Kakashi smirked. Naruto and Sasuke drank the other bottle Kakashi gave them after the water was gone. A few seconds later, Sakura went by. Her face was flushed. She has never had this much work to do. Although she had a ton of homework, it was mental in nature rather than physical. Kakashi let out a sigh. Sakura, stop, Kakashi ordered, tossing over Sakura and 2 water bottles. You're not used to it, so I'm giving you a break. Sakura grabbed it and doused herself with 1 bottle of water. Sakura took a sip from the bottle. Alright, 1000 push-ups, followed immediately by 1500 sit-ups. Go? Kakashi insisted. Sasuke and Naruto immediately rolled onto their stomachs and began performing push-ups. With a groan, Sakura began performing the push-ups. Kakashi grinned. Although he was aware that this was extremely painful, it would be worthwhile. 1 month later, Naruto exclaimed, wind style. Wind repelling shield. Instead. In front of him, the wind grew harder and began to whirl. Quickly, Kakashi hurled a kunai at the shield. The kunai sprinted in the direction of the shield and became entangled in it. The wind caused the kunai to swirl. Abruptly, the kunai leapt from the shield and ran in Kakashi's direction. After catching the kunai, Kakashi returned it to his pocket. Kakashi congratulated Naruto, saying, good job Naruto. Naruto smiled. His clones surrounded the entire area. Naruto learned the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu from Kakashi. Kakashi observed that Naruto's chakra pool was incredibly large during his training. That was the Bunshin no Jutsu's issue. Small chakra was needed for that jutsu. It was not possible with Naruto. Kakashi threw a massive scroll of lightning jutsu at one of the clone groups. The clones gave a nod and ran away. At the opposing group, Kakashi hurled a wind scroll. The group of clones sped away. Kakashi watched as Naruto pulled out a bottle of water and drank it. With a shrug, Kakashi approached Sasuke. Sasuke cried out, "Fire style! Flaming fist!" Fire wrapped itself like a glove around Sasuke's fist. Sasuke's actual fist was slightly smaller than the fire fist. When Sasuke struck a tree with his fist, the tree caught fire. Kakashi grinned. At fire jutsus, Sasuke was a natural. He was born with it. The Uchiha family possessed fire jutsus in some way by nature. Sasuke caught the fire scroll that Kakashi threw at him. As soon as he drank some water, he got to work on it. Kakashi approached Sakura. Sakura received the chakra slip from Kakashi at the start of the month. The paper with the chakra became damp. Water was Sakura's element. Sakura learned a water jutsu from Kakashi in less than an hour. Like a Uchiha with fire jutsus, Kakashi assumed she was naturally skilled at water jutsus. Sakura cried out, "Water style! Five-headed dragon!" Behind her, a five-headed dragon slowly arose from the lake. The body of the dragon was moving like a savage monkey. The dragons were ordered to attack the trees in front of Sakura. The tree was utterly destroyed when the dragons sped toward it. Sakura wiped away her perspiration and grinned. After Sakura joined Team 7, Kakashi saw how she had changed. Since the team was formed, her muscle had increased. Her courage increased. She developed a personality. She was also accepted by Naruto and Sasuke. With a smile, Kakashi threw Sakura a scroll of water. Sakura grabbed it and put it down. They went to the lake and sprayed her face with the water. A month later, Naruto snarled in frustration. He has spent a few hours practicing his clones in his dumb taijutsu form. When Naruto made another attempt, the wind began to gather around his foot and fist. The wind hardened and then vanished. His arms and legs were supposed to be completely covered by the wind in his new taijutsu form. Naruto noticed that his clones were having just as much difficulty as he was. Same mind, same body. Sasuke was having trouble using his fire taijutsu form as well. His arms and legs were supposed to be completely covered by the fire, just like Naruto's. Sasuke was having more trouble with his form because he had never used clones. Sasuke made another attempt, but the fire only touched his toes and fingers. With a sigh, Sasuke took a sip of his water. Sakura never possessed a form of taijutsu, although she was well versed in many taijutsu forms. Kakashi Sensei advised her to create her own. An adversary might recognize that style and spot the weakness right away if she simply copied one from a book. She made a futile attempt to mimic Naruto's and Sasuke's forms, albeit with the addition of water. There was nothing her water could do. A few moments of contemplation went by. Sakura was observing Kakashi from a tree a short distance away. Sakura's eyes grew wide, and she started working on her form right away. With a smile, Kakashi vanished. A month later, "Stupid cat! Back the mother *c.ing off!" Naruto screamed, gripping the cat with difficulty. 3 months have passed since Team 7 was established. They have been conducting missions for a month. Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke got along well. Sakura did, in fact, still ask Sasuke out, but not as frequently. Sakura's muscles grew to the same extent as those of Naruto and Sasuke. Sakura had put in a lot of effort to keep up with them, according to Kakashi. At last, Kakashi was able to reveal Sakura Haruno's true ninja. Sasuke and Naruto remained the same, but they had more new jutsus and more muscle. Team 7 overtook the other teams, who had begun completing missions 2 months prior. Team 8 completed 33 D-rank missions in total. In all, Team 10 completed 27 D-rank missions. All of them were passed by Team 7. They completed 38 D-rank missions in all. Kakashi grinned. His team put in a lot of effort to reach their current position. Naruto's unwavering resolve remained. As Naruto, Sasuke put in a lot of work. Sakura made an effort to emulate Sasuke. Exasperated, Naruto hurled the cat to Sasuke right away. Sasuke was caught off guard. Sasuke swiftly threw the cat to Sakura as it began to claw at his face. After calming down, the cat began to sleep in Sakura's arm. With a shrug, Sakura began petting the small feline. The feline purred. Naruto and Sasuke both exclaimed, "What the F#C," at the same time. Kakashi calmly explained, Now Naruto and Sasuke. Watch your language. There are children here." The three of them were making their way to the Hokage Tower by strolling through the village. Sasuke and Naruto complained angrily about the cat's actions. Team 7 was tasked by the third Hokage to capture Tora, the evil cat owned by the Fire Daimyo's wife. This was the goal of every Konoha team. Every team uses every negative adjective you can think of to characterize the cat. Evil, vicious, angry, annoying, etc. Team 7 arrived at the Hokage Tower a short while later. The group approached and knocked on the door of the Hokage's office. A voice from an elderly man said, "Enter." After opening the door, Team 7 entered. A desk with roughly 6 drawers and paperwork, the worst thing a cage could have made up the room. The paperwork was the work of Hiruzen Sarutobi. Sarutobi put down his pen and turned to face the team. While working with Sakura, Naruto was able to adapt. Sasuke did the same. Sandaime also observed Sakura's growth. Sandaime said, "I see you completed your mission." Team 7 said, "Hi." A few seconds afterward, a chubby woman stormed into the room and seized the feline. The cat appeared to be suffocated by the woman's embrace after she crushed it into it. Sasuke and Naruto smiled. They both thought, "Serves him right." The woman exclaimed, "My baby," as she left. As Kakashi approached the Hokage and reached for the paper, Naruto yelled, "That's the Fire Daimyo's wife," to which Sarutobi responded, "This is your last mission. You have to pull out some weeds." "No, our team is awesome. I say you give us a better mission. A mission that requires action, and getting out of the village. I don't see how pulling weeds, babysitting, chasing a stupid cat, helps us become better ninja. I thought ninja are supposed to protect people and fight. I want a mission that requires some action." Kakashi froze in his tracks at this. Sasuke caught Sakura's fist as she attempted to knock Naruto to the ground. Sarutobi gave Naruto a suspicious glance. "Naruto!" exclaimed Kakashi. Naruto's outburst made Sarutobi laugh. To Kakashi's surprise, Sarutobi said, No, Kakashi. I agree with Naruto. Your team has made excellent progress." Sarutobi pulled out a slip of paper after digging and throwing some papers. "Here is a C-rank mission. You have to protect and escort an actress named Yukie Fujikaze from being captured. She is shooting a film in the land of snow. Protect her from some bandits and that's it," Sarutobi said as he gave Kakashi the slip. Yukie Fujikaze was the name that made Kakashi's eyes widen. Shaking his head, Kakashi picked up the piece of paper. Naruto inquired, "When will the mission start, old man?" Sarutobi let out a sigh. He was aware that Naruto would continue to refer to him as such. Apart from his son, he was the only person in the village who could get away with calling him that. The Fire Shadow answered, "Go to the main gate at 9 a.m. tomorrow." After giving a nod, Team 7 left. With a sigh, Sarutobi swiveled his chair to gaze out the window. Sarutobi acknowledged, "I got to agree with Shikaku Nara. This is troublesome." Group 7 Kakashi and his group were strolling through the streets of Konoha. Naruto was giddy with anticipation for his upcoming mission tomorrow. Despite his excitement, Sasuke kept it to himself. Sakura was thrilled. She wanted to see what she could do. She and her team did spare her, of course, but they weren't targeting her with the intention of killing. Kakashi said, "Team." Kakashi was examined by Team 7. Yukie Fujikaze is a renowned actress. Her movie is out right now in the cinema. All three of you go watch it. All three shouted at once, "Hi." In a whirl of leaves and wind, Kakashi vanished. Naruto led the three shinobi as they nodded to one another and hurried to the movie theater. The three were at the movie theater a few minutes later. After glancing at the ticket agent, Naruto turned to face Sasuke. Sasuke gave a nod. Sasuke was never able to comprehend why he was despised by every villager. They would constantly give him glares as they went about the village. With a shrug, Sasuke approached the ticket agent and requested 3 tickets. The person said, "Sorry, this movie is sold out." With a frustrated groan, Sasuke returned to the group. The film was sold out, Sasuke informed the group. Naruto said, "We're not ninjas for nothing, you know." Sasuke complained, "What do you have in mind?" Naruto smiled slyly at him. Sakura thought, "I feel uneasy about this." A few minutes later, one voice uttered, "This is hopeless." One more voice said, "We're lost." Another voice said, "Let's give up." Standing on the ceiling, Naruto yelled, "No, don't give up. Sakura called out, "Shut up, Baka," as she struck him in the head. A woman's voice said, "No, we aren't lost, never give up." "Yeah," exclaimed Naruto. Naruto's antics made Sasuke smirk. Unnoticed, the three of them entered the movie theater. "You can do wonders as a ninja." Because they were on the ceiling, Team 7 saw everything upside down. After an hour or so, the film came to an end. The chakra on the feet was released by Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, causing them to fall. The three sprinted away as soon as they touched down. A few seconds later, Sakura was somewhere with Naruto and Sasuke. There were a few buildings, a billboard, a gate, and a number of wooden boxes in the area. The well-known actress Yukie Fujikaze, her supporters, and some rainbows were featured on the billboard. Naruto was drooling as he looked at the board. Naruto said to himself in a whisper, "I wish I could be like her," but Sasuke heard him. Sasuke mocked, "So you want to have boobs?" Sakura blushed and giggled softly. Naruto yelled, "Shut up, Teme," at him. The sound of galloping broke up their argument. A horse galloping. From behind the gate, it came. Wondering what would happen, the trio turned their heads toward the gate. Naruto began to scream, "Holy shish!" as a horse passed over their heads. When Naruto saw who was on the horse, his eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. It was Yukie Fujikaze, the well-known actor. A number of other horses leapt over the gate as soon as the horse touched down. Yukie appeared to be being pursued by the horses. "Sasuke, Sakura," blurted Naruto. Sakura and Sasuke exchanged nods. After Sakura and Sasuke pulled out a kunai, the three of them ran to the horses. As the horses galloped through the streets, the villagers began to scream in rage. Naruto exclaimed, "Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." A number of Narutos emerged and began attacking the riders. The men were knocked off their horses and the clones kicked the people's faces. After giving Sasuke and Sakura a nod, Naruto hurried off to save the well-known actor. The clones charged at the other men after Naruto produced even more of them. At a considerable distance from the horses, the clones set traps and obtained multiple wires. The men flew into a lake when the horses stumbled over the wire a few seconds later. Naruto shouted, "Lightning style, lightning transportation." Naruto abruptly vanished and then reappeared directly in front of Yukie's horse. He was able to teleport to a necessary location using this jutsu. The horse made its horse sound and stopped. The horse charged at Naruto after Yukie gave it a whip. Naruto leapt to his feet and sidestepped the horse. The horse was leaving Naruto at a high speed. Being a ninja, Naruto had no trouble catching up to the horse. Naruto yelled, "It's you, it's you, it's you, oh my Kami." Yukie whipped the horse once more while rolling her eyes in frustration. The horse's speed increased slightly. When Naruto noticed the change in speed, he accelerated slightly. Yukie whipped Naruto out of annoyance. With a cry of agony, Naruto headed for a lake. Naruto fell down a hill after tripping over a rock. A lake was where Naruto fell. Naruto came out of the lake a few moments later, furious. Naruto yelled, "What the hell was that for?" The absence of Yukie was noticed by the Kyuubi container. With a sigh of rage, Naruto left to rejoin his group. Sakura and Sasuke said, "Sakura, you done?" Sasuke tied the man's wrist in his last knot. The men were all tied up and beaten. The men all moaned in agony. Sakura said, "Almost Sasuke.kun." Sakura struck one of the men on the head when he attempted to flee. The man let out a painful groan. Naruto entered the scene a short while after that. Naruto sighed as he turned to face the men. Naruto wrote, "I think you guys overdid it." Sasuke said, "Your point?" "They tried to attack Yukie Fujikaze." "True," said Naruto. To the annoyance of the man, Naruto sat down on his head. Naruto looked around and was pleased with his work. Kakashi joined the scene a short while later. Kakashi said, My, what happened here?" In response, Sasuke said, "Killing time." Naruto smiled. The ropes that held the men were being untied by Kakashi. "What are you doing?" asked Naruto, bewildered. "These men are our clients, Naruto," Kakashi said. "They are the cast and the crew." "Oh shish. Exclaimed the three. Beneath his mask, Kakashi smiled. He would have taken the same action if this had been his previous squad. At the very least, Obito would. After untying the ropes, Kakashi turned to face the group. The fact that the team was able to defeat these men actually surprised him. These men have muscle, but they weren't ninja. A bearded man appeared a few moments later. The man said, What happened? Kakashi began. Well, the man gasped. My team thought your men were attacking Yukie. Being ninjas, they attacked the men. With a sigh of relief, the man turned to face Team 7. He employed skilled ninjas. Naruto inquired, "What's your first name?" Sandeu responded, "I am Sandeu." Naruto shook his head and said, "Hello Sandeu-san. I am Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage." Sasuke said, "Sasuke Uchiha, of the Uchiha clan." Sandeu gave a nod. About the aristocratic Uchiha clan, he had heard a lot of encouraging rumors. Prior to their extinction, they were Konoha's best clan. Sakura, feeling excluded, said, "Sakura Haruno." The only person without any extracurricular activities listed was her. Sandeu gave a nod. Kakashi said, "Follow me. I will give you guys the details of the mission." All three genin gave a nod. Sandeu thought those genins had some promising qualities. He was confident in their ability to perform their duties. Kakashi nodded to Naruto after giving him a quick glance. After noticing the nod, Naruto followed directions. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Suddenly, several Narutos materialized, and the crew was picked up by the clones. Everyone vanished when Kakashi placed his shoulder on Sandeu. The team and crew made an appearance backstage at the movie theater a short while later. There were numerous posters for Yukie's latest film in the backstage area. Everything that goes with a movie was there, including lights and cameras. For the trip, people were packing. Naruto turned his head to face Sandeu and waited for the explanation. "Okay Naruto," Kakashi said, "but I think Sandeu should explain it to you." After inhaling deeply, Sandeu remarked, "This is our first movie abroad. Yukie is a bit of a diva." The director entered the room before Sandeu could say anything more. The director, Akinori Oshiro, said, "These leaf ninjas are very impressive. They took down the men that we hired to capture Yukie like it was taking candy from a sleeping baby." "Thanks," replied Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. "This is Akinori Oshiro. He is the director of the movie." Sakura remarked, "I thought Sandeu was." Kakashi answered, "He's the manager." Sakura gave a nod. Sasuke remarked, "Land of Snow is pretty far away." Sandeu recommended it. "He says the glaciers in the Land of Snow turn 7 different colors in the spring," Akinori stated. "That's just a myth. There really is never spring in the Land of Snow," Kakashi said. Team 7 nodded in agreement as Naruto remarked, "That sucks. Winter all year. Must be freezing there." Kakashi, "From what I heard, this isn't your first time in the Land of Snow, am I wrong?" replied Akinori. "No, you're very correct," Kakashi muttered. He noticed the team staring at him in awe. Team 7 shrugged and chose not to bring up the subject. "I don't want to talk about it." Sakura questioned, "Is Yukie always such a diva?" "Yup," replied Sandeu. The group paused as Akinori said, "I don't really care," adding, "The woman is a born actress." Sanadayu gave a small nod of his head. "Once we announced that we were going to the Land of Snow, she ran for the hills," said Akinori. Sandeu stopped talking. When Kakashi realized this, he mentally noted that he needed to speak with him. Kakashi said, "Go to the main gate tomorrow at 9 a.m. Naruto said, "You will be there at 11 o'clock sensei." Under his mask, Kakashi grinned before vanishing in a whirl of leaves and wind. After exchanging nods, Naruto and Sasuke vanished into a whirlpool of flame and wind to train. Sakura ran out the front door. Their mission is going to be extremely difficult. Hitaki Kakashi was waiting for Team 7 and the film crew. The crew wasn't used to the renowned ninja being late, but Team 7 was. Naruto looked at the crew a few times and saw that they were playing cards. Additionally, Sakura was wearing a new outfit, which Naruto noticed. She had a long staff on her back and now resembled a miniature version of Anko. They don't know Anko. I just can't describe Anko. Since they were heading to a cold location, Naruto changed his attire. His red shirt was still on, but underneath it was a long-sleeved black shirt. Sasuke was wearing a black long-sleeve shirt underneath his black high-collar shirt. A sword was strapped to Sasuke's back. Kakashi made the decision to train the team to use weapons. Naruto's scythe was already known to Kakashi. Given that Sasuke's family was proficient with swords, he gave him one. Kakashi gave Sakura a staff because she had never used a weapon. A basic weapon. Kakashi was able to provide them with qualified instructors. Kakashi didn't bother to give Naruto a teacher because he already had a scroll with good techniques. Since he used to wield a sword, he was training Sasuke. Kakashi located a staff trainer after conducting some research. She went by the name Enko Midarashi. Although he couldn't put his finger on it, Kakashi thought Enko looked familiar. Kakashi was keeping the three of them waiting a long time, which was ruining their fun even though they were all packed and eager for some action. At times, Sasuke believed that Kakashi should arrive on time if he was truly famous. Although Kakashi appeared lethargic every day, Team 7 never witnessed Kakashi in action. Is it possible for a lazy ninja to become a well-known ninja? A crew member approached the group, jolting them out of their reverie. He questioned, "Is your sensei always this late?" Team 7 simply gave a nod. With a sigh, the man returned to his group. "It's already 11:15, Sakura responded. "He should have been here 15 minutes ago. We were supposed to meet at 9, and Kakashi Sensei usually arrives exactly 2 hours after that. What's taking him so long?" Sasuke answered, probably still looking at the memorial stone. Sakura cocked her head, perplexed. "You know how Kakashi Sensei always makes these stupid excuses?" Naruto replied. Sakura gave a nod. "He doesn't oversleep, he actually goes to the memorial stone. That's why he is always late. He just stares at the memorial stone for hours." Sakura inquired, "How do you know this?" Sasuke spoke this time. "Me and Naruto were tired of him being late all the time, so me and him spied on him." Sakura questioned, "Why does he go to the memorial stone?" Sasuke and Naruto exchanged glances for a while. During their training, Naruto and Sasuke asked Kakashi why he was standing there after they had spied on him. Sasuke and Naruto can still recall Kakashi's shocked expression. Not the face, but the eye. "Seeing as you're our teammate, we should tell you," Naruto replied. He gave Sasuke a nod, and Sasuke carried on. Sasuke started to say, "It was back when Kakashi was a Junin, but was cut off." Sakura told them, "Kakashi Sensei is already a Junin though." "Kakashi Sensei was a Junin when he was supposed to be a genin," replied Naruto. "Anyway, Kakashi Sensei's team was assigned to destroy a bridge. During the infiltration, his teammate, Rin, got captured. His other teammate, Obito Uchiha, suggested to get her back, but Kakashi was against it." "A few mi," Sasuke replied with a hand over his mouth. Kakashi was standing behind him when he looked up. Kakashi told them sternly, "We will tell you the rest of the story later." Team 7 gave a nod. "You're finally here," exclaimed Sandeu. Team 7 turned to face the crew and actors. Kakashi looked at the glares he was receiving and his perspiration fell. Akinori inquired, "What took you long? Kakashi rubbed the back of his head and answered, I was lost on the road of life. In actuality, he overslept today and didn't actually visit the memorial stone." Sasuke and Naruto turned to face Kakashi. Unless he overslept, he never makes that excuse. Both of them simply shrugged. According to Akinori, "Anyway, let's go." The crew and actors gave a nod. A carriage was surrounded by 4 men. The 4 men lifted the carriage up by grabbing a large stick that connected to it. The team was informed by Kakashi of their intended formation. Sakura is on the left, Naruto is in the rear, Sasuke is on the right, and Kakashi is in front of the carriage. To approach Kakashi and pose a question, Naruto conjured up a kage bunshin. Kakashi ordered Naruto to return to his place. "According to the clone, I'm just a kage bunshin. How long will this trip take?" Kakashi asked, nodding. Kakashi reported, "At the rate we're going, I saw 3 days." With a nod, the blonde-headed clone scattered. The clone's memory did not cause the real Naruto's head to shoot upward. It came from a snow mound atop the trees. Naruto thought, "Snow? The land of fire never has snow." Sasuke and Kakashi were thinking the same thing. In case a fight broke out, Sasuke turned on his Sharingan. Kakashi was more alert than normal, but he still had his lazy look on. 2 human figures emerged as the snow began to rise after the group had passed it. Their black hair was spiked, and their mouth was hidden by a mask. They were dressed in dark blue pants and a black shirt. They were covered in a camouflage cloak of some kind. The frightening aspect was that the 2 men were connected in some way by a spiky chain inside their claw gloves. After exchanging nods, the 2 men launched an assault on the closest one. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A number of Narutos appeared and charged at the 2 men. In the process of jumping apart, the men extended the chain. The 2 men dashed forward and used the spiked chain to destroy the clones. A sudden kick to the face sent the man on the right flying back. He saw Sasuke Uchiha staring at him. A horde of clones tackled the other man. "Go ahead." yelled a Naruto clone. Kakashi gave nod. He had faith in Sasuke's and Naruto's abilities. The actual Naruto was examining the man before him. He noted the chain in the claw. Something purple was leaking out of the lethal weapons. Naruto thought, poison huh? Naruto yelled as he turned to face Sasuke. The chain and the claw contain poison. Don't get scratched, Sasuke said, nodding to Naruto before engaging in combat with his victim. Naruto noticed that all of his clones had vanished when he turned to face them. When Naruto recognized that man, his eyes grew wide. Demon Brothers of the Hidden Mist. Chunin level. Missing. Ninja from the Land of Snow, formerly from Kirigakure, village hidden in the mist, Naruto said. The man said, "Are you a fan of mine?" As he pulled out his scythe, Naruto answered, "No, I'm your killer." Naruto saw that his gloves chains were no longer there. Naruto thought, Sasuke must have cut it. The man said, "I would like to see you try." "Before we fight, what's your name?" Mizu just said, "Mizu," and rushed forward. In an attempt to end this battle quickly and easily, Mizu swung at Naruto's head. He was underestimating a Konoha genin. Naruto abruptly disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Mizu's eyebrow went up in inquiry. What happened to him? When he heard footsteps rapidly approaching from behind, his question was answered. He dodged ahead. Swiping blow. A scythe caught his attention as he looked up. Mizu leapt back and began weaving through hand signals. "What? How do you do hand signs with those gloves on?" asked Naruto. Water style. Water dragon. Naruto was attacked by a water dragon that burst forth from the earth. Naruto weaved through his own seals as his eyes grew wide. Lightning style. Lightning arrow. Suddenly, an arrow in his hands formed a sky blue lightning arrow. When Naruto fired the arrow at the dragon, it scattered. After striking the dragon, the lightning arrow sped in Mizu's direction. Mizu leapt back and charged at Naruto as soon as he hit the ground. Naruto pressed a button on the scythe's staff section button. Abruptly, the blade came loose, and Naruto grasped it. The blade was thrown at Mizu by Naruto. When the blade came loose, Mizu was startled. Mizu leapt to his feet, spun around, and swung at Naruto's chest. Mizu's claws were stuck in the staff when Naruto placed it in front of his chest. Mizu's face slapped sideways as Naruto kicked his face. Mizu jumped back before Naruto could hit him again after slapping him with his glove, claw. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Naruto was abruptly blasted by a fierce gust of wind. Mizu's body was slammed into the ground as his feet were abruptly raised off the ground. The wind was causing tiny cuts all over his body. Mizu gave a frustrated grunt. "This genin caught me off guard. So far, he is able to defeat him." Mizu charged at Naruto once more, but he didn't react. He swung for his head once he was within arm's reach. The arm abruptly stopped when the claw was just an inch from Naruto's face. Opening his hand, Naruto grasped the blade that severed Mizu's head. Naruto kicked Mizu's head after glancing at it. With a sigh, Naruto ran to Sasuke. Sasuke. Fire style. Flaming hawk. Sasuke spit out a 2-yard bird and launched an assault on Gozu. Gozu attacked Sasuke while ducking beneath the fire jutsu. Sasuke could hardly know what was happening because Gozu was faster than Mizu. Sasuke saw through the swipes because he had his Sharingan activated. Sasuke kicked Gozu's chin after spotting a gap. Gozu was sent flying back, but he was grinning the whole time. Sasuke raised an eyebrow in inquiry. When Sasuke saw the ground, his eyes widened. Kaboom! Sasuke was slammed into multiple trees and sent flying back. There was an explosive note on the floor. Sasuke finally stopped on the 5th tree. He didn't break through the tree, but he did dent it. Panting, Sasuke got to his feet. Because of the explosive note and the slamming of the trees, he sustained some bruises and multiple cuts from the trees. Gozu smiled. He hurried to finish this as soon as possible, making the most of the pause. Sasuke swung his sword at his gloves and got out. His hand was exposed when the gloves were removed. Sasuke kicked his stomach and swiftly grabbed his hand. Gozu clutched his wrist and screamed in agony. A genin sliced off his hand. He needed to finish it fast because he only had one hand left. That was out because he was unable to make any hand signals. When Gozu's head was severed, his mind truly became disjointed. The blade that cut Gozu's head was caught by Sasuke. In response, Sasuke said, "Thanks, dope." Naruto grabbed the blade from Sasuke's hand and leapt from the tree branch he was perched on. "You were too injured to do anything, so I finished him off for you," told Naruto. After placing Sasuke's arm behind his head, Naruto began to return to the group. Sakura and Kakashi began to worry about Sasuke and Naruto. It has been a long time since the two were gone. He did have faith in Naruto and Sasuke's abilities, but Yukigakure was abandoned by the Demon Brothers years ago. By now, they could have trained to a level comparable to Junin. Although the pair was not even close to Junin level, Kakashi was certain that they were at a high Chunin level. Sakura was fidgeting, and Kakashi saw it. Apart from being Sasuke's fangirl, Sakura has been more focused on becoming a ninja. She still harbored a small fangirl side, though. Sakura worried even though she was sure those two could defeat the enemy. When she heard slow footsteps approaching, her anxieties subsided. She looked up and saw that Naruto had Sasuke in his arms. Not yet realizing that Sasuke was hurt, Sakura threw herself at him. Sakura threw Naruto away, and Kakashi caught him. Kakashi assisted Naruto in standing up after he complained in frustration. Sasuke grunted in agony as he was thrown to the ground. "Sakura!" exclaimed Kakashi. Sakura raised her head from Sasuke's chest and gazed at his body, saying, "Sasuke's injured." Sakura apologized as her eyes grew wide and she hurriedly took out her medical kit. Sasuke just gave a grunt. With a laugh, Kakashi approached Sandayu. His serious expression caught Sandayu's attention, and he began to perspire. Kakashi said, "May I talk to you for a minute?" With a nod, Sandayu rose from the floor. Taking care to avoid being within hearing or speaking range, Kakashi ventured into the forest. "I noticed that ninjas attacked us. Hokage Sama said that it was a C-rank mission. C-rank missions are only supposed to have bandits in them. Care to explain yourself?" Kakashi asked. Sandayu let out a sigh. He was aware that this would occur while traveling. Nothing could be concealed from an elite ninja by a regular person. "I think we should talk about it with your team. I think it's best that way," Sandayu replied. After giving a simple nod, Kakashi trailed Sandayu back to the camp. When Kakashi and Sandayu arrived at the camp, they discovered Naruto sipping a cup of ramen and Sakura tending to Sasuke's injuries. Kakashi instructed the group to approach Sandayu's location. When the group arrived, Sandayu started to give an explanation. Yukie's real name is Koyuki Kazuhana, the daimyo of the Land of Snow. She is a princess. Sandayu continued. Sasuke and Sakura nodded in agreement as Naruto said, "That's one hell of a change. We're protecting a princess?" Her uncle, Dodo Kazuhana, killed his brother, Sosetsu Kazuhana, Koyuki's father. Dodo wanted to be the daimyo of Yukigakure, so he killed Sosetsu. He tried to kill Koyuki, but Kakashi saved her in the nick of time. Kakashi was staring at Team 7. With a sigh, Kakashi started to tell his own tale. "When I was an ANBU, I was assigned to protect Koyuki. During my mission, Dodo attacked the temple. I grabbed Koyuki was ran away," Kakashi stated. With a nod, Team 7 looked back at Sandayu. Sandayu concluded, "Well anyway, Dodo now figured out Koyuki Sama's location and is sending ninjas to kill her. This mission has been bumped up to an A-rank mission. To continue this mission is your choice," Kakashi stated. Wait, Naruto replied, "Dodo wants to kill his own niece?" Sandayu said, "Hi." Naruto angrily retorted, "I want to keep going. I want to teach this dude a lesson." Despite the fact that he had no family, he was adamant that you do not murder your own relatives. Sasuke gave this careful thought. He understood what it was like for a family member to murder other family members. "I want to keep going. I know what Koyuki is going through. Let's go," informed Sasuke. Sakura nodded, seeing that Sasuke was eager to continue. Sandayu exclaimed, Thank you so much." He bowed and dropped to his knees. Team 7 just waited for Kakashi's orders while nodding. "I will take the first shift. Take a good night's rest. Naruto, you go after me. I will wake you in 3 hours. By the way, once we reach Yukigakure, I will need to send for reinforcements," Kakashi stated. After giving Sasuke a nod, Naruto accompanied him to the tent they shared. Sandayu returned to the cast and crew, while Sakura returned to her own tent. Kakashi grabbed his bag and took a seat close to the fireplace. He took out a photograph and examined it. The image featured a blonde shinobi, himself, a girl, and a man wearing goggles. As Kakashi replaced the photo, he remarked, "I believe this is a rebirth of Team Minato, sensei." The following day, a whole day has passed since the ninja encounter. The guard for Team 7 soared. They could be ambushed at any moment, Kakashi warned them. Finally, Naruto could get some action. He had a constant desire to battle other ninja. He fought the demon brothers, to be sure, but he thought they were weak. Sasuke was eager to battle other ninja as well, but he had just one goal in mind. Track down and murder Dodo Kazahana. He detested those who murdered members of their own clan. He was too much reminded of Itachi. Sakura felt a little thrilled. Although she engaged in combat with Naruto and Sasuke, their goal was not to murder her. The ninja she would battle would be part of this mission. The crew and Sandeu were also concerned. The reason why ninja came across them was unknown to the rest of the cast and crew. The only cast members who were aware that Yukie was Koyuki were Sandeu and Akinori. However, Akinori never mentioned it. He was aware that it was not his business, but Koyuki's. After 2 days. 3 days have passed since the team departed Konoha. The group knew when they arrived at the Land of Snow, even though they had never been there before. They only recently became aware of the climate shift. The Land of Snow was visible as they reached up a hill. Once atop the hill, Kakashi weaved hand signals and bit his thumb until it bled. Kakashi slammed his palm on the floor and exclaimed, "Kachiyose no Jutsu." A little dog with a blue vest materialized. The dog said, "Hello Kakashi, long time no see." Kakashi answered, "Hey Pakun. I need you to deliver a message to the Hokage." He pulled an ink brush and a scroll out of his pocket. He hastily composed a message and tucked it into Pakun's vest. "Where are we?" inquired Pakun. Kakashi answered, "Yukigakure, Land of Snow." With a shrug, Pakun ran away. The others gazed at the scenery while Kakashi chatted with his dog. They still had a fantastic view despite the ocean gap between the hills. There were numerous snow mountains, and enormous glaciers that resembled mirrors were located behind the mountains. Naruto uttered the words, "Damn it's cold." Team 7 gave a nod of agreement. Akinori's voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. When they eventually arrived at the other side an hour later, they exclaimed, "We have to go on a boat and reach the other side. Let's go." Before they had taken 2 steps after leaving the boat, they heard a rumbling noise coming from the mountains. 3 figures were seen standing atop the mountains when everyone turned to face them. There was a fat guy, a guy with a ponytail, and a girl with hair that resembled cat ears. Each of the 3 of them had a circle in the middle of some kind of armor. When Kakashi recognized those 3, his eyes grew wide. According to Kakashi, Roga Nader, Hitaki Kakashi, man who copied over 1,000 jutsus, replied Nader. "Let's make it simple. Hand over the princess and we will let you live." Kakashi said, "I'm afraid I can't do that." His Sharingan, the one that made him famous and made all the elemental nations fear him, was visible when he lifted his headband. Naruto, create clones and get the cast and crew back to the ship. Sakura and Sasuke, you take the girl. Naruto, you take the fat guy. I call Nader. Kakashi gave the order. He said, "Nader," and Team 7 heard the poison in his voice. Team 7 shrugged and followed instructions. The clones that Naruto made also followed Kakashi's instructions. Naruto approached the obese man, while Sakura and Sasuke ran to the girl. Kakashi leapt over to Nader and gave him a fierce look. Nader teasingly said, "Let's hope you don't run away again, Kakashi?" Kakashi shouted, "I plan not to." Taking out multiple shuriken, Kakashi hurled them towards Nader. Nader charged at Kakashi after throwing back his own set of shuriken. Kakashi grabbed his ankle and threw him at a mound of snow when he tried to kick his head. Nader shouted out a jutsu as he regained his equilibrium in midair. Ice release. Tearing dragon fierce tiger. The mountain's snow abruptly froze and took the shape of a tiger. Kakashi was weaving his own hand signals when the tiger charged at him. Water style. Water dragon no jutsu. A water dragon sprang from the surrounding sea and sprang at the tiger. Following their collision, the dragon and tiger began to wrestle. The dragon was destroyed when the tiger turned it into ice, but the tiger was also destroyed. At Nader, Kakashi hurled a kunai with an explosive note. Smirking, Nader simply leapt over the kunai to discover Kakashi leaping toward him, lightning crackling in his hand. Kakashi exclaimed, "Lightning blade," and tried to poke a hole in his chest, but Nader swatted it away. Nader kicked Kakashi's face while grabbing his arm. Kakashi was hurled back to the mountain in the air. Nader used a number of hand signals to capitalize on Kakashi's status as the Snow Mountain. Roga Nader, Wolf Fang Avalanche. Kakashi stood in a rumbling mountain. At the summit, wolves began to emerge and began to dash down the mountain. After leaping from the mountain, Kakashi began weaving through the identical hand signals. Roga Nader, Wolves began to charge down the mountain from the opposite side. The wolves turned their wolf bodies and charged at the other side as soon as they made contact with the ground. The wolves attacked one another until they were all scattered. Nadir sensed that he was growing weary. Nadir shouted out after performing a final jutsu move. Ice style. Ice needles. The snow turned into ice needles as it rose from the ground. Kakashi swatted the needles away with a kunai as they raced toward him. Seeing that Nadir was fleeing, Kakashi shrugged. He descended the mountain by leaping and made his way back to the boat. Naruto, in an attempt to trip Mizor, Naruto kicked his legs after dodging a blow. Naruto was sent flying back to a pile of snow when Mizor leapt and punched him in the face. Feeling a little lightheaded from the punch, Naruto stood up. Mizor shouted out while weaving some hand signals. Ice style. Ice spikes. Spikes rushed toward Naruto, exploding from the ground. Naruto leapt to his feet and applied chakra, which caused him to adhere to the spike tips. Until he got to Mizor, Naruto continued to leap over the spikes. When Naruto tried to kick him, Mizor grabbed his ankle and slammed him to the ground. Some of the blood that entered Mizor's eye was couched up by Naruto. Mizor yelled, "Damn it! My eye, I can't see." Using the blindness to his advantage, Naruto hit Mizor with a number of punch and kick combos. Mizor's blindness prevented him from avoiding or grabbing anything. Naruto kicked Mizor's chest and added more chakra to his feet. Mizor skidded a couple of times on the snow and flew back. In order to complete this, Naruto threw some hand signals. Lightning style. Lightning arrow. Naruto's hand shaped into a blue lightning bow, holding the arrow. Mizor was blind when Naruto hurled the arrow at him. Mizor threw hand signals after hearing electricity crackle. Ice style. Ice dome. Mizor was shielded by an ice dome. Although it struck the dome, the lightning arrow was unable to penetrate it. This jutsu appealed to Mizor because it allowed him to flee while the dome protected him. Mizor began running off. Naruto blinked curiously. With a shrug, he made his way back to the boat. Sasuke and Sakura. Fire style. Roaring flame sphere. Sasuke's mouth exploded in a flaming sphere. Fire style. Great fireball was similar to this jutsu, but it was much larger and more destructive. Fubuki narrowly avoided a swipe for her head after dodging the sphere. Sakura twisted her staff so that Fubuki would be struck by the other end. Sakura was thrown to Sasuke by Fubuki, who then grabbed the staff. Quickly, Sasuke grabbed her and threw a fireball. Avoiding it, Fubuki shouted out a jutsu. Ice style. Ice pillars. Ice pillars erupted from the earth and sped in Sakura's and Sasuke's direction. The pillars split apart as they both leapt back in different directions. In an attempt to play around with the pillars, Sasuke threw a kunai. The pillar abruptly encased the kunai, which remained motionless. Sasuke yelled, "Sakura, don't even touch the pillars." "I know," exclaimed Sakura. A kunai with an explosive note was hurled at the ground by Sasuke. He used a replacement jutsu with a kunai after he let himself get trapped in the ice. The pillars that were pursuing him were destroyed when the kunai exploded inside it. Sakura followed suit. They noticed the Fubuki was backing away after they had both left the danger area. When Fubuki saw her two teammates backing up, she followed them. Sakura and Sasuke returned to the boat after shrugging. The third Hokage of Konoha, Hiruzen Sarutobi, was seated at his desk completing paperwork, the worst thing a Hokage can do. The Sandame sighed because he had no desire to return to his former role as Hokage. Since Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, passed away too soon without selecting a successor, he had no other option. When Minato was a Hokage, he would constantly wander the village. The Yondaime never bothered to complete any paperwork. Instead, he delegated the task to Kage Bunshins. Although Sandame is capable of using Kage Bunshins, he was growing older. Sarutobi turned his chair and gazed out the window after placing a paper on the done pile. To him, Konoha looked very lovely. There are lots of buildings, lots of trees, and lots of people walking around the streets. In all three of the major shinobi wars, Konoha fought and always prevailed. The elemental nations feared Konoha because of this. In the past, Konoha has experienced some difficult times. For instance, the Uchiha massacre, the Kyuubi attack, and the Kumogakure incident involving Hinata Hyuga, but they all quickly recovered. There was a poof sound coming from inside his office, interrupting his thoughts. Pakun, Hitaki Kakashi's ninja dog, was there when he turned his chair around. Sandame said, "Ah, hello Pakun. How are you doing today?" Pakun said, "Hello Hokage. Sama, I'm fine, how are you?" Sarutobi said, "Anyway, Why are you here? I'm wonderful. Kakashi sent me. All the information is in this scroll. Pakun replied. Rising from his seat, Sarutobi removed the scroll from Pakun's vest. After skimming it, Sarutobi nodded to Pakun. As he disappeared in a puff of smoke, Pakun declared, My business is done now, so I will be off. Returning to his desk, Sarutobi pulled out a number of photos. After giving the photos a close inspection, he began slowly rearranging them on his desk. After about 3 minutes, he pressed a button beneath his desk and received the team he wanted to send. Suddenly, in front of his desk, an Anbu was kneeling. The Anbu questioned, What are your orders, Hokage-sama? The Anbu nodded and disappeared after Sarutobi handed them the pictures and instructed them to gather these certain people and tell them to meet me here in 15 minutes. Sarutobi turned his chair and turned back to the window. Considering their skills, they should find them very quickly, Sarutobi stated. Unknown area, land of snow. In front of a flight of stairs, the 3 ninjas who attacked Team 7 were kneeling. There was a chair at the very top of the stairs. Doto Kazuhana was the one occupying the chair. He was certain that his group could manage 1 Junin and 3 Genins. Since he was up against Hitaki Kakashi, he could relate to Nadare's loss. Dodo pointed to Mizore and Fubuki and remarked, This is kind of disappointing, losing to a bunch of Genin. I completely understand Nadare's loss, but not you two's loss. In embarrassment, the two bowed their heads. The 3 Junin level ninja nodded and disappeared, saying, But no worries. We will handle those snot nosebrots. Dismiss. When Dodo was certain they were gone, he took a bingo book out of his pocket. He began reading it after flipping to the page that Hitaki Kakashi was on. Hitaki Kakashi is his name, 27 years old, rank A+. Where they reside. Konohagakure no Sato, the man who replicated more than 1,000 jutsus as well. Known. The White Fang of Konoha's son. Obtained the Sharingan. No one is aware of this, former captain of Anbu. Sharingan no Kakashi is his nickname. Imitate Kakashi. Kakashi, mirror, nin. Team Minato was the previous team. Instructed by Konoha's 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Dodo thought, Hitaki Kakashi. You're an interesting man. He was considering a choice that was presented to him yesterday. Dodo reasoned that Kakashi would require the additional support because he is a high A rank ninja. 2 figures appeared out of the shadows as he snapped his figures. Dodo declared, You're hired. After thanking Dodo and nodding, the 2 figures disappeared back into the darkness. Team 7. Kakashi was staring at Koyuki Kazuhana's sleeping corpse. His face was displaying a range of emotions as he gazed at her. Surprised and sad. He could not put his finger on it until now, but he knew she looked familiar. It all made sense to him when Sandeu revealed that Yukie's true name was Koyuki. His gaze drifted to her necklace. Kakashi took a phony duplicate of the necklace around her neck out of his pocket. 10 years since we last saw each other, Koyuki? Kakashi asked, without addressing anyone specifically. He took a nearby chair and put on the fake necklace in place of the real one. After a few minutes, Sandeu entered and informed Kakashi that the filming had begun. With a nod, Kakashi trailed Sandeu out of the room. When Kakashi arrived at the poop deck, he discovered that everyone was prepared to begin filming. Additionally, he noticed a crowd observing a video camera. He approached the people and peered over their heads, being the inquisitive person that he was. They were observing the battle scene, he noticed. Kakashi questioned, You filmed us fighting? As they turned to face Kakashi, they noticed that he had raised an eyebrow. As he approached the group, Akinori remarked, Heh. Yeah, it was a perfect fight scene for the movie. With a shrug, Kakashi approached his group. In case a battle arose out of the blue, his team was cleaning their weapons and making sure they were in perfect condition. Kakashi began reading his perverted book while leaning his back against the boat's rail. Is everyone ready? Akinori yelled as he made his way to his chair. Hi, was yelled by all. Lights, check. Camera, check. Alright, scene 23, cut 6, take 1, action. After finishing their weapon polishing, Team Kakashi returned and began to observe the set. Yukie's abrupt transformation while on camera caught the attention of the entire crew. Her expression abruptly changed from one of indolence and stubbornness to one of seriousness and passion. Sandeu chose to inform Team 7 after observing their response to Yukie's acting. Sandeu told them, once Yukie is on the camera, her whole personality changes. It's like a whole new her. The eyes of Team Kakashi widened. When Yukie needed to get serious, who knew she could? Shishimaru. The mission of their bodyguard now begins. The following day for the movie's filming, Team Kakashi and crew were in a new location. As usual, there were snow-capped mountains in front of them. There was a forest close by, as well as a tunnel with railroad tracks in it. On top of the tunnel, Naruto had positioned a large number of Kage Bunshin in the forest as a backup plan. Additionally, some of the clones were dressed as rocks. Kakashi was concealed in the mountain by a mound of snow. Sasuke had his Sharingan activated and was perched atop a tree. Sakura was present with the crew and actors. Everything was going well so far. Someone yelled, "Yukie is gone," just as they were ready to start filming. "Scatter and find her," Kakashi shouted to Team 7 as soon as he emerged from his hiding place, and Naruto was about to run away when his head jerked. He blinked as his head turned to face the forest. After leaping out of the tunnel, the Kyuubi container fled into the forest. Yukie Koyuki Kazahana, also known as Yukie Fujikaze, was running through the forest in an attempt to get out of the film and, more significantly, this place. Yukie had no intention of coming here at all. The day they left, that dumb masked ninja put her to sleep. He recalled that day, and she snarled in rage. Rewind. Yukie was in the middle of Konoha, drinking in a bar. Because it was tucked away in an alleyway, this bar was never very popular. She grabbed her sake and gulped down what was left of it. "Yukie!" was exclaimed by someone. Yukie turned her head and asked, "Eh?" She noticed that a blonde ninja was standing on the door, which was on the floor. He appeared to be angry as his fists were clenched. Yukie insulted him by saying, "You're the brat from the other day. The annoying midget." Steam was leaking from Naruto's ears due to his extreme rage. Because of his height, he was sensitive. Why was he so short, he wondered. After concluding that his parents were midgets, the Kyuubi container simply left it at that. "I have no time to yell back at you. We got to go. The boat is about to leave." Naruto began to scream. Yukie had been surrounded by his teammates. They would have to take her by force if she didn't agree. Yukie shot back, "No brat. Don't tell me what to do." She slammed her sake down on the table after taking a sip. The sake fell to the floor as Sandeu walked into the bar and slammed his hands on the table. According to Sandeu, "You have to Yukie." "Look," Yukie replied, "just hire another actress to play my part. Movies do it all the time. No one can act like you. You're the best actress in the world," Sandeu told her. Yukie said to Sandeu, Yeah, just go away." Kakashi muttered, "Looks like I got no choice." Yukie became drowsy after he forced her to look him in the eye. She dozed off and nearly toppled over the stool, but Sasuke grabbed her. Sandeu gave Yukie a look that suggested he was embarrassed by her, which he was. According to Kakashi, "Let's go." Naruto nodded and placed a hand on Sandayu's shoulder. The Kakashi team disappeared. End of flashback. A trip down memory lane for Yukie, who fell and hit her face in the snow. Her hands were too cold to move when she attempted to stand up. Her toes were also frozen when she attempted to move them. Yukie tried to stand up again but fell again, saying, "Damn it, frostbite." A voice said, "Let's go. Everyone is waiting, Baka." Yukie looked up to see Naruto standing in front of her. His eyes were down on the floor, and he had a frown on his face. He appeared agitated as his fists were clenched. He approached her and held out his hand. She took hold of his hand and raised herself. In piggyback fashion, he placed her on his back. They were moving slowly through the tunnel that Naruto was securing a few moments later. He was so short that he was sort of dragging Yukie. The ground was skidding beneath her feet. That frown was still on Naruto's face. Something didn't feel right. In the tunnel, it was warm. It's never hot in the land of snow. "Hey," Naruto said to Yukie, "is it hot in here or is it me?" "Pervert," yelled Yukie as she slapped Naruto on the back of his head. Naruto retorted, "That's not what I meant. Yukie would fall if he rubbed the back of his head. Yukie won't actually fall, though." Yukie just said, "Oh." Naruto noted, "I meant in temperature." Yukie remarked, "Huh. Yeah, it kinda is." Perspiration was trickling down Naruto's brow. His clothes were beginning to stick to him. Because of the heat, Naruto could feel his feet beginning to slow down. He wanted to pass out. He heard a roaring sound before he passed out. Inquired Naruto. Something red. Orange was racing toward them when he turned. The entire tunnel was filled with it. "Fireball!" exclaimed Naruto. Naruto began to boost his speed by applying chakra to his feet. "Ah!" cried Yukie. Naruto yelled, "Shut up! Let me focus!" Yukie screamed back, Focus. What are you talking about? We're going to die. I said shut up. Shot back Naruto. As his speed increased, he put more chakra into his feet. Behind him, he could feel the flames roaring. Naruto stumbled a little but managed to get back up. He sensed that the fireball had torn off a portion of his pants. Damn it, why is there a fireball here? This is the land of snow, not the land of fire. Fire jutsus shouldn't even exist here, Naruto was thinking. His speed soared as he used some of Kyuubi's chakra. When he realized that there was hope, he infused his feet with a burst load of Kyuubi's chakra. When he eventually leapt out of the tunnel, Yukie and Naruto buried their entire bodies in the snow. The foolish fireball was causing Naruto to pant heavily. He swiveled around so that his face was facing the sky. He glanced over and noticed that the crew and actors were there, unsure of what had happened. Naruto asked, yelling, "Did you guys see that huge fireball?" What fireball?" inquired Sandeu. Naruto made no attempt to answer. He appeared unwilling to bring up the subject, but the fireball was on his mind. He and Yukie were the only ones who saw the fireball. That was completely nonsensical. Was the snow able to put out the fireball? Yes, Naruto thought. That might have been it. He noticed that his group was racing toward him from the forest. Sakura yelled, "Are you okay, Naruto?" She began applying some ointment to his bruises after pulling out her medical kit. Naruto let out a sigh. Sakura didn't seem to notice how quickly he recovered. He made the decision to hold off until the Chunin exams. He was certain that the Kyuubi would play a part. "Naruto, what happened?" inquired Kakashi. Naruto got up and remarked, "I need to talk to you alone though, it's kind of weird." Sakura commanded, "Don't get up just yet, you're still hurt." Naruto explained to her, "Sakura, I'm fine." Sakura complained, but she didn't bring up the subject. Naruto nodded and instructed Kakashi to follow him. Which was strange because Kakashi should have instructed Naruto to follow him. Naruto told him everything that transpired in the tunnel after he was out of earshot. When Naruto informed Kakashi that the flames just vanished, his eyes widened. "It's all right, Naruto. Let's just wait and see, but keep your guard up," Kakashi said to him. After giving a nod, Naruto accompanied Kakashi back to the camp. When they got to camp, they noticed that they were shooting as if nothing had happened. Since they had worked with Yukie for a long time, Kakashi assumed they were accustomed to this. Kakashi gave the order for his group to return to their posts. Sakura remained with the actors and crew. Sasuke returned to the tree, and Naruto returned to the tunnel, still anxious. They heard a sound just before they started filming the movie. Sakura questioned, "Wait, is that a train?" I think so," said Sandeu. When a strange train rounded the corner, his response was spot on. Aside from the numerous holes on the side, the train appeared to be an ordinary train. Kakashi gave the train a wary look. "That's no ordinary train," Kakashi remembered. There were 4 figures standing on it. Team Kakashi recognized 3 of the characters. The 3 snow ninjas engaged in combat. An unidentified individual was the other figure. His hair was dark brown, and he was tall. His entire body was covered by the cloak he was wearing. His face was flat and his nose was large. Dodo said in a loud voice, well, if it isn't my niece, Koyuki Kazuhana." The cast and crew pretended to know this already, but on the inside, they were terrified. Dodo asked, "What's this? Where are those leaf ninja?" Kakashi nodded to Sakura, who then began to sift through 44 hand signals. Sakura mumbled, "Water style. Water dragon no jutsu. Together." Abruptly, the water within them began to be released by the snow surrounding them. To the surprise of the crews and actors, the water transformed into a powerful dragon. Nader used an ice dome to stop the dragon as it raced toward the train. In a whisper, Naruto exclaimed, "Lightning style. Zeus's wrath," from the tunnel. Above them, the sky grew darker. Several enormous lightning bolts struck the dome. As the dome began to deteriorate, cracks began to appear. The dome eventually collapsed and collided with the train. Before the train could come to a complete stop, the 4 snow ninja disappeared. On top of the mountains, they resurfaced. Dodo informed them, "Our job for stalling you is done." As he and Sasuke leapt to the ground, Naruto exclaimed, Kakashi was about to surprise Nader once more in the meantime. "Roga Nader!" exclaimed Kakashi. When Nader heard the mountain rumbling, his eyes grew wide. His own jutsu was attacking him when he turned his head. "Run!" yelled Nader. The snow wolves pounded them because they were too late. There were quiet moments while Team 7 and the crew awaited their return. Nader yelled as he and his teammates leapt out. Haha, Psyche. Yelled Naruto. According to Nader, asked Kakashi. Naruto soon heard a helicopter approaching from this direction. When Naruto looked up at the sky, he noticed a huge helicopter heading toward the snow ninja. Dodo caught a ladder that was thrown out of the door by the helicopter. Ascending the ladder were the snow ninjas. "See ya," Dodo said. "Thanks for Koyuki, huh?" inquired Naruto. Naruto searched the area for Koyuki, but she was nowhere to be seen. As he glanced up at the helicopter, he noticed that Koyuki had a kunai fastened to a rope that was wrapped around his ankle. The helicopter took Koyuki into the air. "Ah!" exclaimed Koyuki. Naruto yelled, "Sasuke," at him. "I know," was his response. The clones of Naruto opened their hands and changed back into their original forms. Naruto threw Sasuke to the helicopter after Sasuke leapt onto the clone's palms. Sasuke reached for one of the helicopter's connecting poles. Naruto tossed Sasuke a rope that was fastened with a kunai. After catching the kunai, Sasuke dragged Naruto toward him. Naruto looked down and thanked him. Naruto yelled at Kakashi, "Let me and Sasuke handle this." Kakashi considered it for a while. Two genins were attempting to subdue 4 Junin level ninjas directly in front of him. On the other hand, Sakura was a low-level Chunin ninja, whereas Naruto and Sasuke were high-level Chunin. Although he was unable to determine the snow ninja's level of strength, he had faith that Naruto and Sasuke could manage themselves. Naruto smiled as Kakashi nodded to the two. With a kick to the door, Naruto and the Koyuki Kazuhana stormed in. Sakura and Kakashi cast and crew were eyed by Kakashi. He could see they were all frightened and shocked. They were not to blame. They had just seen their second ninja battle, after all. Additionally, their star actress was abducted. He hoped she would return alive thanks to Naruto and Sasuke. Akanori snickered, and he heard it. "What's so funny?" inquired Kakashi. Akanori said, "I filmed that whole battle." After his perspiration stopped, Kakashi returned to Sakura. He noticed that she was restless and scanned the area like a scavenger. She was turning her head from side to side, causing her hair to whip back and forth. Sakura stopped her fidgeting when she noticed Kakashi staring at her strangely. "Kakashi. Sensei," Sakura inquired anxiously, "will Sasuke-kun and Naruto be okay?" Kakashi said softly, "I hope so, Sakura, I hope so." He was concerned about the two best friends as well. All Kakashi could do was hope they would be alright on their own. Kakashi swiveled around to face the film crew. The film crew nodded and followed Kakashi back to a hidden location he had discovered. "Let's go," Kakashi said. "We have to get out of here before anyone attacks us. Since Sakura and I are the only ninjas here, we have to be more careful." Kakashi told Sakura to go to the back when she asked where she should go. It wasn't until he spotted two figures that Kakashi even started to move. When he recognized the two figures, his one eye widened in surprise. Kakashi raised his headband and uttered, "Itachi Uchiha." He was aware that this would be the hardest battle he had ever faced. As he was tied and suspended from the ceiling, Naruto hung his head in embarrassment. The metal chains that were fastened to his wrists were being fastened to the ceiling. Naruto gazed at the chilly concrete floor. The fact that he and Sasuke were taken prisoner was his own fault. He was too careless. Naruto muttered, "Kuso." Raising his head, Naruto saw that Sasuke was in a similar predicament to his own. Gazing at the chakra device Dodo had placed on him and Sasuke, Naruto hung his head. The captive's chakra was completely cut off by the device. At first, Sasuke attempted to activate his Sharingan, but the device cut off the chakra flow to his eyes. Naruto could hardly feel his chakra as he attempted to make some cage bunshin. Shutting his sky blue eyes, Naruto tried to come up with a plan for leaving. He opened his eyes and looked at Sasuke. Naruto said, "Sasuke, can you get your sword?" In response, Sasuke said, "Let me try." In order to drop his sword, Sasuke swung his body. The blade slipped from its scabbard after a few attempts. Sasuke informed Naruto, "That's all I can do." Sasuke experimented with the sword with his feet until he was certain he wouldn't miss. "Good," Naruto said, "now kick the sword over here." Sasuke gave Naruto the sword with a kick. Naruto was directly in front of the sword as it slid flawlessly past the metal bars. Naruto used his feet to manipulate the sword until it stood erect. The sword cut Naruto's thigh when he carefully threw it up a little. Sasuke yelled, "What are you doing, Naruto?"
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.